And it auto fades. Hey, it actually worked. Hey, welcome to the live stream. I'm looking at myself, looking at you guys. So, welcome to the live stream. Just kind of my stream to kind of take it easy here. If you read the title of this live stream, my computer's in pieces. So I rebuilt my computer in January or July. I built a new computer basically, and I got like an i13, 13th generation i9, I believe I got. 128 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM, the 4070 or 4060, I think it's 4070, and a bunch of other stuff. And it was working great until I would say about a month and a half ago, and I would turn it on, come into the office in the morning, turn it on, and it would like boot up and then crash. Boot up a little bit, or like it would get halfway to post, or start the little Windows spinny thingy would spin and boom, die. Windows spinny thing, die. And then after like 3 or 4 times of crashing and booting, it would finally boot into Windows and everything would work fine until the next time I decided to turn the computer off and then come back in and it'd be dead. So it was doing that a lot, and I struggled through that last job for one of my city clients. And I got it working, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to turn the computer off until this job is done, and then I'll turn the computer off. And sure enough, I turned the computer off and could never get it back even to post after that. So I first thought it was the RAM. I went ahead and RMA'd the RAM, and I bought myself a one single stick of RAM to test it, and it ain't the RAM, so it wasn't the RAM. And then I did now I'm thinking it's the motherboard. So I've got the motherboard sent out. And in the process of actually taking my computer apart, I decided I wanted to switch over from like a regular tower case to a rack-mounted horizontal case. So I got that, but then I got it and I realized, well, my water cooler thing won't fit in there. So I had to get another. Oh, first I thought it was the water cooler. first I got rid of that. So, yeah, and I'm stressing out. So this morning I had a shoot. We did just a very simple 3-camera shoot. We did a Veterans Day observance ceremony. Shot it with 3 cameras, me and my buddy Joe. And he shot like the back camera. I was on the gimbal, and we had another camera just static. So I had to edit that and get that out the door. And I sent an email. I sent a text to my contact. Hopefully she responds that she got it and they can post it. Knock on wood. Hopefully everything's going well. But as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I put it on they wanted it on Facebook and YouTube, but I don't have access to YouTube. And I put it on Facebook and saved it as a draft. So hopefully everything's cool. How you doing, Jack D. Ripper? Have I ever thought about going on full-time on YouTube? Yes, I have. But the problem is, from here to going to actually to make as much as I make doing client work, I think would take a lot of time. And I do and sometimes enjoy client work, honestly. I still, because it allows me to be behind the camera. Ever think about buying a Mac? No. I mean, yes, I have. Recently, I thought about maybe I should get a Mac for my streaming stuff, because I'm going to rebuild my streaming computer, which is why I'm kind of streaming today, because I figured one last chance before I put it into its new home. And I thought, well, should I get a Mac? I just don't want to be Mac. I just don't want to be under the thumb of Mac, because partly of that is if the PC, I can fix it. With a Mac, I can't fix it. I have to send it back. I have to take it to the Apple to have them fix it. I mean, sure, you can build a Hackintosh and all that crap. Yeah, sure, but if you're going to build a Hackintosh, you might as well just build a PC. So yeah, and I've been 20 years on a PC, or not 20. I've been on like 30 years on a PC. So anyhow, oops, I saw AMA. AMA is just ask me anything. So it's open to ask me anything. Right now I feel like I'm kind of nervous because I had to turn around that edit, and it was like a 40-minute ceremony, or cut down to 40 minutes. And so the cool thing about having I rebuilt my system, my workflow to utilize network storage, because I switched over to uh, 10 gigabit Ethernet network. So I can get basically the hard drive. The network is not the bottleneck; it's the hard drives now. So I have a 10 gigabit network going to my NAS drive, which is like I want to say like 20 or 30 terabytes of data on there. So the good news is when my computer went down, like I wasn't worried because my projects weren't stored on the computer. So I could literally work on another computer. Unfortunately, like that 13th generation computer that I built is really fast. I mean, it's like it was blazing fast when it was working. And my old editing computer, which I've had since like 20, I want to say 19 or 18, like in that era, I mean, it's long in the tooth, and I can feel it editing. Even editing today's project, which was the Veterans Day thing, it felt. I mean, I shot it purposely. I shot it on HD. I didn't even try to go 4K. Like I'm not even gonna try. I want this thing built for speed. But like doing warp stabilizer for my gimbal shots just took forever. I ended up just cutting down as much as the warp stabilizer as I could do. I'd rather buy a Big Mac. So would I. I enjoy the Big Macs. Is DaVinci Resolve completely worthless? And I wouldn't say so. Why do you think it's worthless? I mean, I've heard a lot of people love. Look, I get people giving me crap for being on Premiere, but and I've never heard anybody crap out on DaVinci Resolve. So you bought a MacBook 2012 costing $200. Worked great as I installed Linux Mint. I hated Apple products, but that hardware is absolutely solid. Yeah, that's why it's popular for streaming, because it's supposed to be like just rock solid. And then you know streaming is not the place where you want hardware to just like die on you. So yeah, so the next thing, you say, oh, you like DaVinci, but I hear people trash it. I personally, I don't like the way it edits. I don't like the editing side of DaVinci Resolve. It just doesn't work for me. Like I love Premiere's ability to just do whatever I ask it to do, even if it's wrong, even if I shouldn't be doing it that way. But no, DaVinci's fine. I don't know why people hate. I don't know who's telling you they're trashing DaVinci. Hey, Rigel7, my weekly biographer who gets my quotes all out of context. Do I find the Sony stills camera, the A whatever new one with the global shutter? I find it interesting. I just don't care that hard, but it's interesting because that global shutter changes some things. I hate I hate. I personally I want to just like not watch any video that says this is a game changer. Like, yeah, I mean, well, what's nice about it is that the global shutter allows you to basically not worry about flash ever again. Like you can shoot any shutter speed now with flash because of the global shutter. So that's cool. You can shoot a flash with like 2/2000th of a second shutter. That's nice. I like that. It's cool. Do I shoot flash photography? I haven't shot photography like that for like ever. So, not my big worry. So I think it's interesting for the video side of it. Not particularly interesting, honestly. DaVinci has some surprisingly good audio functions. Apparently it does, yeah, with that Fairlight or something like that. It's involved with it. Where would I be without hyperbole? Well, I wouldn't be here, gosh darn it. That's a good question, though. I like it. How do I make or find props for your client works? Well, look, most of my client stuff doesn't ever need props per se. Like, because everything that's a prop for a client will just be either supplied by the client. I mean, if they ever request that I, procure something, then I procure it. I've never had to. I mean, trying to think of like a prop that we had to use. I mean, the only thing we had to do that was sort of a prop was, okay, this is going way, way back to like 2004 or 5 when we did a commercial for this insurance company, this insurance like agent, and they loved frogs. So the story was we were going to do like a frog puppet. And the frog puppet like ribbit, like, where am I gonna get my how am I going to get my workman's compensation insurance? And the little frog would pop up and it's like, so and so incorporated, ribbit. And then the other person like, where am I going to get my medical insurance? Ribbit. In fact, I still have it somewhere. Still have that frog puppet prop somewhere hiding. But I still got it. That's the only time I've actually used a prop. So I've been talking here. Where you supposed to be spamming me with questions and comments? Here comes some more. So the other part of sensationalism sells. Yeah, I know. Oh yeah, this changes everything, folks. This is such a game changer. So okay, just a kind of a side note. I mean, somebody was talking about, was offering me to do a review of a product, of one of those, so the Rode Wireless Goes, but now basically that's really popular, the little wearable microphone packs that transmit. So everyone has one. So they wanted me to review one for, I won't say the name yet. But what's interesting about it was it wasn't 32-bit float. And I was under the impression that these things were 32-bit float. So I recorded something and I got a little bit of overmodulate on this recorder. And I thought, well, it's got 32-bit float. I'll just fix it later. No, those things don't have 30-bit 2-bit float. Rode makes it so that you can export it in 32-bit float, but they're literally 24-bit. And I thought about it, and I thought, oh, that makes total sense. Why would they be 32-bit float? These little recorders, these little box recorders like the Wireless Go 2 and all that stuff. Because you're just wasting money if you make them 32-bit float, because you can't control the gain on them. So I think what you do is you basically make them 24-bit, and you just set the 24-bit to the maximum pressure that they can take. And then the 24-bit dynamic range will cover pretty like everything. Like, because you can't adjust the gain on them, you just set the max gain to the max pressure level that you can take. So luckily the audio that I was trying to salvage wasn't really bad, but it was good. Anyhow, so yeah, not 32-bit float, and I don't think anyone really makes one of those other 32-bit float. It's funny. I get some calls, get some emails about that, or comments. What was the first lens that you liked a lot? This is going back to my 35mm camera adapter days. The first one I really liked, I think, would be, it's probably the nifty 50 1.2 lens, f1.2 Nikon. So back in the day, I feel like I'm just old. Just the whole time I'm just getting older and older. But you see, back in the day, before the Canon 5D came around, we were tripping over our balls trying to get. That sounds funny. Tripping over our ball sacks trying to get 35mm equivalent depth of field and appearance in our massive camcorders with either 1/3-inch or 1/2-inch chip camcorders. So what would you do? And Red Rock Micro was one of the first ones to make these things. It was basically a spinning piece of plastic. It's called a ground glass, but it wasn't glass, it was plastic. It would spin around, and then you would shoot that little spinning disc, and then in front of that disc you would put a lens, like a lens adapter, and you would put a lens. And so you would literally shoot the lens, and the image created by the lens itself, and then you would record that using probably a mirror, like they used a mirror system to flip the image right side up, and you record that. So you would build out these monstrosities of cameras that were maybe this long, like the camcorder was this big, and then the mirror, and then the actual box, and then you have a long lens. I mean, they were massive cameras, and they were just awful, because you would have to try to focus on the ground glass, but sometimes you wouldn't get edge focusing right, and then you lose a lot of light because that ground glass just loses a lot of light. And so my first lens that I purchased a bunch of old Nikon used manual Nikon lenses, and probably the first one I really liked was that f1.2 50mm lens. So yeah, that's my story. Reposting an earlier question. What's the most interesting, amusing sponsor offer that you've denied? Assuming you can talk about it. Oh, I get a lot of weird offers. like just bad offers, just like tacky, crappy, like this or that products. I'm not going to name anything because names you would never have heard of. Just bizarre because, and then they kind of expect you to just jump at, oh my God, I'm going to review your product for nothing. I want to send you some Blue Chew. Yeah, I don't think so. I wish. I don't even know what to do with that stuff. But it's like, yeah. I think I have a different perspective, I think, than a lot of other people in that when I don't limit myself to thinking about let's take, for example, copyright. So like a lot of people think, oh, public domain's awesome. And we will talk about this topic a little more. But I think when I think public domain, I think of knockoff companies that come in and rip off anything they can, and they stick it all on like a DVD. Like you get a 4-pack of all these old movies that are public domain, and they sell them as dirt cheap as possible because they literally cost like a penny to produce. Like that's what I think of, right? So when people like, I don't think about the low end people. I think about this like the barely higher than scammer level of people. I don't know how this is getting in there, but I just wanted to make that mention. I just think about people that are slightly higher than scammer, slightly more ethical than scammer, but not quite. Not quite. Anyhow. If someone want to work for you to get field experience, what are the requirements? Maybe small business said that hiring an intern noob is too expensive, but how else can they experience? It's a good question, right? So the problem is like you can't give someone that doesn't have any experience any responsibility because they could royally screw it up, Shadowing is really is the best way to start. Is to shadow, like ask to shadow. Can I help you follow you along for a couple projects to offer for free, that kind of thing. I tend to pull stuff from the college, not necessarily my students, but the students that have gone through the program. So I figure like at least there's some level of experience there. But shadowing is probably the most reasonable answer to that question. Nikon 50mm f1.2. I think either 1.2 or 1.4. I can't remember. The logician says this changes everything equals I won't watch it. Good for you. Good for you. True reviews are hard to find, but there are always some fair reviewers out there. I would watch your reviews. Thank you. I just don't like doing reviews, but I guess I will if they pay me. I'll tell you, hey, they're paying me to do your review, so I'm going to tell you exactly what I think about this. Well, it's probably good. What comic book villain do you think deserves a solo feature like the Joker? I don't know. Probably going to pull from like the Batman because that seems to be the one that I care most about. Well, like Omni-Man. I've been watching the new season of Invincible. First, I was like, you ever get this when you watch you watch the season, and it gives you the season recap, and you're like, I don't remember any of this stuff. It's kind of how I felt watching the season review or season recap of Invincible. Like, I don't remember the first season at all, apparently. So I just kind of like, well, I'll just go through it, whatever. Have you ever watched Louder Milk? It's been my radar for a while. I just burned through it. No, I never even heard of Louder Milk. Isn't Will Sasso in Louder Milk? I don't know. Will Sasso? I would like to see the Captain Nazi. He's Captain America's villain. Oh, I thought you were trying to do a German accent with this. I would like to see Captain Nazi. He is a Captain America's villain. So I got banned from the subreddit for screenwriting. I got banned for the screenwriting subreddit. I'll tell you why. Because I basically called a guy an imbecile. I honestly, when I got the email like, oh, you've been banned from screenwriting, I'm like, fair enough. I think I probably deserved it, but I think it's a badge of honor to be banned from that place. So, story time. What's the story? Okay, so you probably heard, I think it's Acme versus Wile E. Coyote. Remember that movie, that animated movie? So, Warner Brothers decided to shelve it. Now, I don't know why. No one knows why, right? But so somebody on the Reddit posted, like, on the screenwriting Reddit, said, "Why is this legal to do?" And for the to give them credit, 75% of the respondents to that question, why is it legal for a company to just basically bury a movie and then never show it and just write it off as an expense? 75%, maybe 80, maybe 85% of the comments were legitimately, that's their right. That's literally their right to do. If that's what, if they feel that way, then it happens. And that's just the reality of it, okay? So, all right, cool. 15% are moronic idiots, imbeciles of the high, and I use that term with a full blunt force of calling someone ignorant and stupid. So one person wrote, well, it should be public domain because if they write it off, that means we, the taxpayers, essentially paid for the movie. And I don't know. Do you guys feel the gravity of that statement? Do you sense the weight of unbearing stupidity behind that statement, like the way I do? Or maybe is it just me? Is it just me that for somebody to claim that the taxpayer paid for the movie because they write it off as an expense? Is I don't know. Am I alone in this, feeling this massive weight of stupidity? So I basically said, and I said, you have no clue, understanding of money or taxes. And he came back and said, well, I said essentially. Look it up, buddy. The taxpayer essentially paid for it. So my response in verbatim was, you must either be drunk or 12 years old. And that's the only excuse for being that much of an imbecile. And that's probably what got me banned. And fair enough. Honestly, fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you, Junebug. I'm going to put, as soon as your thing posts, I'm going to put your comment up there. As someone who went to business school, that's the dumbest statement I've ever heard. If a studio refuses to release something, it's copywritten and everything after that. I went to business school as well, right? And what these idiots don't realize, so I think this is the reality. And again, this is not new. And I know I'm starting to get political. This is barely political. But I think most of these idiots, when they hear write-off, they think what that means is I owe $100 million in taxes. And I've taken a $35 million write-off. That means I want to take $100 million, subtract $35 million, and that's $65 million. That's not how write-offs work. Look, I know, he was spending the whole time it's like, why are you defending, he's not just me, but why are you defending big corporations? Like, I get it. Hollywood has shady accounting, but that's not how write-offs work. It's not how, right. So, and then I did get into with another person on there, not as emotionally charged. I didn't call him an imbecile, but I did try to explain like how write-offs work, because he was saying, well, you shouldn't be able to write off a movie if you didn't intend to make money on it. Well, I said, well, how do you know they didn't intend to make money on it? They just realized they can't make money. They decided, we're not even going to try, and we're just going to count it all as an expense. But he's like, well, I can't write off my grocery bills if I decide I'm going to try to sell that guy a sandwich. I can't write off my grocery bill. I'm like, yeah, you can. That's how you start a business. I want to, I can't write off the cost of a PlayStation 5 because I started streaming. Yes, you can. That's the whole point of write-offs. That's how business works, guys. Anyhow, do we always get ads? I think it's the YouTube's new thing. They like started putting ads on the live streams. So sorry about that. Well, thanks for the 5 cents though, or probably 2 cents. Yeah. At that rate, being banned from something is kind of, I don't know, like in screenwriting, for calling someone an imbecile, that's a bannable offense. Because I guess I was being mean to somebody. Oh well. Oh well. Jack the Ripper YouTube Premium for the win. Yeah, I'm the only person I know that has YouTube Premium. I'm the only person IRL that has YouTube Premium. All my friends are like, no, I'm not going to pay YouTube. It's like, well, I kind of like it, honestly. Account for Comics says, my ethics is that whatever legality, if an organization chose to abandon an artistic project for more than one person work on it, it is morally right for someone else to show their works. I don't know. So the thing is, so here's my discussion with this guy, and this is what I wanted to bring up is so the figure, and it's James Gunn worked on it. James Gunn worked on it, and John Cena was in it. Maybe that's why it's a Wile E. Coyote Acme Roadrunner kind of a commercial. I don't know. Maybe they thought it was just too inappropriate or something. I don't know, because James Gunn can be known for a little bit too risque. But anyhow, so Warner Brothers spent like $40 million or $30 million on this thing. It's just it's an animated movie. They spent like $30 million on it. Okay, and a lot of people. So I think people don't realize when you spend $30 million, that money just doesn't go vanish into to space, right? That money goes into people's pockets. It goes to paying for artists. It goes for paying actors and directors and writers and not set designers, but rent musicians and all that. So everyone got paid, and they all got paid at probably a pretty good wage because it's Warner Brothers. So it's probably all union scale wages. So people are taking that $30 million that they spent, and they are getting taxed on that money. So as income tax, right? And then they use that money to pay their mortgages, to buy food and feed their families. Okay, so that money goes somewhere. It's not in Warner Brothers' bank account anymore. It's now in the economy. Okay, so now they didn't just spend that money out of the goodness of their hearts. They're like, we got like $30 million. They're not Warner Brothers is not the government. They can't just roll up their money printing machine and just go, vroom, 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 free money, everybody. No, so they spent that money with the intention of making money back. That's how kind of how business works, right? So, now they decide, shoot, this may for some unknown reason, we don't know. It could be, hey, this thing glorifies Nazis. For some reason, they made this thing, and all of a sudden, I don't know. I'm just saying, it doesn't matter what it is. Imagine something that in your head would be like, oh, that's a good reason not to release it. All right, just imagine. They say, well, we're not gonna release it. Instead we're just gonna take a loss, screw it. We're not gonna even try to make money on it. We're gonna shelve it. It's not gonna see the light of day. For whatever reason, look, it could be a very bad reason, it could be a very good reason. Who knows? All right. So why shouldn't they be able to take that loss of money, that money that they spent, and apply that loss to other projects that they have throughout the project? Now, don't get me wrong. Let's say I made an independent short movie and I took it to Warner Brothers and they're like, oh, we love it. And they show it and it's like, oh, you made a lot of money. You made like $20 million, but man, we had a $30 million loss, so therefore your movie doesn't make anything. Okay, I get some shady accounting stuff going on there. But why shouldn't they be able to write off the money they spent? Because the money has gone into the economy. It's helped a lot of people. Those people are paying taxes on that money. So there's no reason why they shouldn't. From a policy perspective, it makes sense to have them be able to write that off against the earnings from other projects they produce. Anyhow. Anything that you can specify to an accountant that you use for business is a tax write-off. Exactly. So it's kind of like the argument that this guy was trying to make was like, oh, I can't. But he's like, well, if I had a hobby of painting, I couldn't write off my paints, could I? It's like, no, because it's a hobby. You don't expect to make money on it. The level of ignorance, like that's what I always said. Like you're either drunk or you're 12 years old. You've never filled out a tax form. You don't know how business works, right? And I'm in the middle right now of trying to figure out business. Oh man, If you bought underwear and you used it in the business, it's a tax write-off. That's true. If I bought some underwear for a prop, I would use it as a business. Now, like if you bought underwear for yourself to wear, that may be harder to justify, unless you appear on camera. It's a shitty deal? Absolutely, it's a shitty deal. But luckily, I think that's also why probably lawyers exist to write like details in the contract. If you pull the plug on this project, you will pay a certain amount of money. I think that's what the lawyers are for, right? Is to figure out all those possible, variations on what could happen if this deal goes south, right? That's like, if a deal's great, you really don't, you almost don't even need a contract. If I do the work for you and you pay me, everyone's happy, then our contract is barely important. The contract is there for when things don't happen the way they're planned, right? So, it keeps stuttering in the stream. That might be because my internet's being weird. Let's see. No, I think my internet still works, but my internet might be weird. In my experience, has your social media presence been important for your client work in the last 3 to 5 years? Do you have business IG not related to Filmmaker IQ, or do clients come? My clients come entirely to me through word of mouth. I don't do any. My business doesn't really have much of a presence. I mean, I put a couple things up there, but other than that, my business is not really. I don't really use social media for business. I don't even like using social media for business. What Filmmaker IQ has gotten me is got me a job teaching. So I was looking to teach. I was figuring I wanted to do some teaching, like in real life teaching, and basically they knew who I was before I even applied. So that helped a lot. Basically, kind of landed me the job. And it also kind of kept me basically from, my boss doesn't really have to hover over me. He's like, he just teaches us Filmmaker IQ stuff. Oh, that's good. Oh, yeah, that's true. By this guy's logic, we should get The Day the Clown Decried, the Jerry Lewis movie that never got public domain by his logic. Yeah, so, yeah, I don't know. There's no logic. It's like, I was kind of saying like, well, the logic is, like, you didn't buy my script, therefore I paid for your rent this month. Because if you would have bought my script, then if you bought my script, you wouldn't have money for rent. But you didn't buy my script, so I gave you my money, essentially. My God. Do you think porno sets have intimacy coordinators? No, I don't think they do. I don't think they're even unionized, are they? I don't think they are. It's your internet account? Well, I don't know. So I know last time I streamed, my modem or my wireless adapter, which is a USB wireless adapter, was acting up really weird. I ended up buying another one. And it's probably in an Amazon locker at a Walgreens right now. I have yet to go get it. So I didn't talk about the second thing. So my computer's in pieces. I'm trying to learn new streaming technology. So I told you I was going to get on board with I don't know, real quick, I'll answer this question before I dive into that. Why do I think the Coyote movie got scratched? I don't know. When I first heard about it, I didn't even think it was, I thought it was probably because they were too embarrassed by it. It might be an issue that, is it 2D? I think it was 3D, right? But it might be 2D, created with 3D. I don't know. My only speculation would be that it might have hurt the brand in a way that they didn't want, a direction they didn't want to go in, perhaps. They said James Gunn is involved, so James Gunn might have made it a little too splattery. I don't know. Who knows? But again, it almost doesn't matter. And I saw some people on Twitter being like this, like it should be public domain. It's like, no, it shouldn't. It's up to them. They paid for it. They get to decide what they get to do with it, And look, would I like to see it? Sure. And why not? It's great. It's great. Maybe this is all a backwards attempt to generate a bunch of buzz, and now they're going to release it. Like, well, finally, we're going to release it, and the other Snyder cut. Maybe that's the whole thing. Who knows? But anyhow, All right, so back to back to my point, my discussion about the new technology. Oh, I already got rid of that comment. So I am trying to get my streaming software and my hardware to be more to go to NDI. NDI is the new tech something or another interface or a digital interface. So what that is it basically sends video through the internet through not internet through local networks like a local network through either LAN or even Wi-Fi. And I thought that would be a cool addition for my streaming because then I wouldn't have to like lay down a bunch of wire. I bought a couple new Bird Dog NDI wireless cameras that I could literally just put down and they should be able to send the footage straight to the streaming thing. I could literally put the camera anywhere I want, not to worry about cables. I can run them off battery and all that. Cool. But then I got this job to do this little winter parade coming up here in December, and which they want to have a camera person at the beginning of the parade where the intention is to have parachuters land on a target. I don't know if that's going to happen. I honestly don't. I don't think it's safe because it'll be dark and there's like telephone pole wires, and I mean they've got to land in a very small. And they assured me, yeah, these are military top guys, okay, but it's kind of I wouldn't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. But they want to have them landing on the street with like carrying them, flying the American flag and land on the street. But we have to have a camera there. But that camera is going to be like about like a good 2 blocks away from where we're going to actually stream the show. So I got to figure out how to do that. Well, going back to my experience with talking to some news broadcasters, I did this press conference, and I was asking them, hey, what's that little backpack you guys are using there? And that's like something like they were using LiveView and a couple other different programs. So LiveView, what that is instead of NDI is for sending information or video through an internal network. SRT, which is what which is what LiveView can do, sends internet through the internet, the public internet. So now I've got to figure out how to do SDI and also SRT. And SRT is my primary focus. Is obviously I have a shoot. I have an event coming up that I'm going to actually need to use SRT. And so yeah, oh my God. So SRT, I think what I got to do is then I got to get. So I bought the LiveView Solo. I don't need the 4K versions. I just want the HD version. I bought the LiveView Solo, and I got the one with the 2 modems on it, so I can do cellular transmission of the camera signal from 2 blocks away, send it to the internet, send it to a server, and I think I'm going to use Castr, CASTR, to accept the signal and then resend it down to me, who's going to be on my streaming box. And I'll be able to incorporate that into my stream. Then I'll send my stream, I think, probably back to Castr, and the Castr will stream it out to like Facebook and whatever, YouTube or wherever it needs to go. I don't know. I've been like, I just feel like I've been super, with all this stuff going on, I feel like I've been like really stressed out. So I've just been so freaking stressed out. So that's the story with that. So if you're still wondering, if you're coming later in the stream, you're like, what is he talking about? Well, let's point him to this moment in time in the stream. Anyhow, my nose is getting weirdly stuffy. Let's go back to your chats. Oh, there you go. The Coyote movie was a live-action animation hybrid. One of the rumors why it was shelved is that it was originally announced as HBO Max exclusive, and they wanted to focus on theatricals. Perhaps. I'm pissed that Spider-Man Across the Universe, Spider-Verse is streaming on HBO Max here in Brazil with a 16:9 ratio. It doesn't ruin the film. It does crop too much of the image, but I still hate. Was it 16? Is it 16? Oh, is it cropping the sides off? That's annoying. I think it should be public domain after time period. It will be. 95 years. 95 years. Then it'll be public domain. StreamYard. The thing with StreamYard is not quite what I need for this because I need to send the signal. So the SRT is kind of cool. It's cool technology because the delay should only be about 2 or 3 seconds, which is way better than anything out there. So to get the signal from the cameraman through the system to me on the edit the stream the We're going to have like 4 other cameras there. And we're going to be live calling. They're going to do like a table, like 3 mics or 4 mics, and they're going to get the mayor up there to talk about. They're going to chatter away and do the whole, pretend to be the Rose Parade folks basically. So and I got to do show. I got a camera on them. I got a camera on the street. I'll have a camera roaming about, and then I'll probably have one more camera. I'm going to hardwire the ones I can, right? And I have a short wireless I can do. Then I got to send that signal back out. And I'm thinking, well, since I'm paying for Caster, I might as well just use that. I don't want to necessarily throw on StreamYard because StreamYard's another service I have to pay for. I can't do the free version. I can't have StreamYard in the freaking stream, the logo or anything like that. So yeah, and the cool thing is the Live View. The Live View has a plan to do unlimited wireless for 1 month for $300. Now, I get it. $300 is a lot of money, and I would balk at that if it weren't for the fact that the client has pretty deep pockets, and they'll be paying for that, not me. And luckily, I could also justify it too because I'm doing three streaming events for them that month, so I'll spread that cost over 3 months. But the cool thing is, it's unlimited. It's not this nonsense like, oh, it's unlimited. You have unlimited cell phone coverage on your phone, guys, until you hit 30 gigabytes, in which case we will squeeze you like someone who's angry. So yeah. So it's truly unlimited. It's a Verizon AT&T combination. So you should always be guaranteed pretty good. So it's $300 and I can go month by month. I can just turn off after the first month. That's what I'm going to do. But yeah. Yo, what's up? Says petrosexual.de. That sounds like I've seen you around, but that sounds awful naughty. Are you going to watch the Fincher's new The Killer? Mind all the details being wrong, even within the first few hours. Very frustrating. Spoiler alert. I don't think I'm going to go to the movies tonight because I just want to relax. But I should probably go to the gym. I keep telling myself I ain't going to the gym. I'm going to the gym. Try to burn off some of the stress. But I keep not going. Universal did a screw up with how they presented the copyright in the opening credits of The Charade. Ooh, film released 1963. As a result, the film was immediately in the public domain. Oops. Imagine that. Studio makes a mistake that makes the movie immediately go into the public domain, but for not properly copywriting it. Interesting. Yeah, because it wasn't until 76 when the U.S. switched over to the world's Berne Convention style of copyright where it existed at the point of creation. Fascinating. Yeah. Maybe is that why that's why you don't hear much about Charade the movie? Interesting. I bet the wife, Wile E. Coyote movie was trying to appease its ESG and the new head of Warner Bros. And slowly get rid of it. That's, before I realized it was a Wile E. Coyote show, before I realized it was a Looney Tunes kind of thing, I thought that's why it was canned, because I thought it was like the Batgirl show where it just like literally got rid of it because it just, because it was just crap. But Matthew says, I don't mind. He's talking about the Spider-Verse movie. I don't mind the cropping of the sides. It doesn't truly destroy the composition. If they had done stretching, that would have been unwatchable to me. If I'm not mistaken, it was 1.85. Yeah, probably 1.85. So Junebug says, now there's a thing that Warner Brothers is considering buying Paramount. Well, that's just ironic because I literally just got Paramount Plus. I just got it because I was like, it's like it's $11 a month. I'll just get it and maybe I'll watch that 1890 whatever Yellowstone show that everyone keeps telling me I need to watch. Because I kind of need a TV show that I can just look forward to putting on after a day's worth of work. Be like, I'll watch this for an hour. And then I'll tell myself I'll watch one episode. And then I'll watch one episode and it gets to the end and it's like cliffhanger. Like, I got to watch what happens. And you end up watching like 3 or 4 episodes. Even though like I know I'm too tired to watch 3 or 4. I just need to watch one. I just want to watch one episode. That's why I got Paramount Plus. So if I'm a supreme leader, I'll put the period of public domain to 5 years to be shelved, art projects 10 years for most contents, and 20 years for intellectual. Well, the problem with that is, and I always get into this with people, it's I think Lifetime is just minimum guarantee. You have to provide it for a minimum of lifetime, because I don't think at any point should I deprive any person of the right of their creation. Like that is like solely that to me is like a violation of a person's human rights. Is to say you created that, cool, you made it 20 years ago, awesome, I own it. That's not cool with me. Like I think that's literally barbaric. Like it's to say that you only have 20 years. Whatever you made no longer belongs to you. I can make it. I can take it. Whatever. I can stick it on a grocery store DVD for pennies. I can do the bottom scraping shit with it. I don't like that. Okay, so that's the basis of my thinking. I think lifetime is absolute minimum. Period. Like lifetime of the creator. Okay, but then you say, well, what about corporations? Well, corporations aren't people. They can't die, right? So they don't have a lifetime. All right, so, but the thing is, let's give the corporations this. The corporations are going to argue like, we need to have a term limit that's essentially the same thing as if a person created it. Okay, what would that number be? Yeah, 50 years, 64 years, 70 years? Okay. All right, 70 years. So if a person who's makes something when they're 18 and they die when they're 88, okay, it's 70 years. All right. So a corporation makes something, they have a 70-year lifespan. Okay, cool. Well, what happens when when a person like dies early? Let's say you're 18 and you make this beautiful, story, and you become famous, and then you're 45 years old, and all of a sudden a train runs you over. Okay, what happens then? Well, your wife or your husband, it's not to get sexist here, is expecting to live off of that money. So you need to have a period of time after which the person dies in order to still recoup that wealth. Otherwise, you kind of like, well, here, J.K. Rowling's got $1 billion. If we offer, we can make it public domain. Well, we got to have a little bit of time to still recoup. You got to have a little buffer. All right, so let's say 70 years plus 25 years, so that the survivors can reap off of the reward for a little bit. And also, like, hey, your grandpa dies, and all of a sudden everyone's just like jackals coming in and ripping apart the work. Give it a little time. So that's where now you start adding, and that's how we get to life plus 50 years. Now, and the corporations, and then the corporation in America at least, because this is not worldwide, just to cap it off with corporations 90 years. That's it, no more. So I think that's fair, because the other thing is, unlike a lot of people on here, I don't value the public domain as much, in that well, first of all, ideas are public domain. Like the idea of something is public domain. If I wanted to make a movie about two people that decide to become friends with benefits, and then they slowly fall in love with each other, that's not something that anybody can copyright. It's an idea. It's an idea for a movie. Anybody can do that. In fact, two movie studios actually did it in the same year, right? So ideas are public domain. So the ideas are more valuable, like as far as like creating work. The work itself, the work itself is protected, but the idea for works are free and open for everybody to use. So I'm okay with that. I don't think having something fall in the public domain, to me, I just see it as a point of exploitation, because people just exploit the shit out of it. When something's public domain, you get everything. How many Dracula movies are there? How many good Dracula movies are there? Anyhow, we've gone down this many times. Panasonic has some NDI cameras. I wonder if they're as good. Bird Dog, I never liked Bird Dog, but then I started thinking, well, maybe I'm just using it wrong. Because I think Bird Dog, Panasonic, Sony, Canon cameras, they're really good. I think Bird Dog's probably under those guys. All right. If you, I am a lawyer. No, I'm not a lawyer, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. If I shot a video of people walking in the park with close-ups of people, does the copyright belong to me or the image right of the subject to the park owner? Lots of different factors in play here. So first of all, copyright belongs to you, period. Like regardless of whatever, copyright always belongs to the creator. Now the question is, do you have a right to? Can you have? What can you do with that footage? Like if I shot people in a public place, then there's a. I mean, and as far as I understand, there's a lot of leeway with that because they're not. There's we start introducing ideas like privacy, right? Like there's no expectation of privacy if you're walking down the street. If you're walking down the street and you happen to get filmed for whatever thing, and then you like, well, I didn't want to be filmed there. Well, you're in a public place. Everyone's public there. Everyone can see everything. It's public, right? Now, if you're taking a long last lens and you're zooming into someone's backyard, say paparazzi, right? The question is, are you invading people's privacy? That becomes more of a privacy issue, not necessarily a copyright issue. It's a privacy issue. There's also the like doctrines of like publicity. So like also if I shoot you walking on the street and like and I see you walking down the street and I use that shot for a commercial for let's say AIDS prevention, right? You might say, well, that's proclaiming some sort of endorsement. So like, I'm in a commercial for an AIDS product, like for HIV/AIDS. Well, then people are going to look at me and think that I have HIV and AIDS. I didn't agree to that, right? Again, that's not a copyright issue. That's now like a privacy and like association issue, right? So there's a lot of different other issues involved with that. That copyright actually doesn't. It's only the least of your concerns. But ultimately, yeah, you take a video, the copyright belongs to you, period. Whether you can use that for anything, that's another entirely different question. Okay. So yes, I am a lawyer. No, I'm not a lawyer. I just play one on television. Here's my theory. They could decide it was coyote or coyote, yeah, and just decide to scrap the whole thing. Potato, potato, let's call the whole thing off. Exactly. That's a good point, Rigel. Charade was directed by Stanley Donen, who is the most famous for directing classic musicals alongside Gene Kelly with Singing in the Rain. Charade is not a musical, though. Although, man, I knew the Frank Sinatra song, Charade, from that movie, right? For way more long. I used to have that Frank Sinatra. I loved that song. I didn't realize there was actually a movie attached to it. And the movie's it's okay, but the song is terrific. It's like haunting. It's Henry Mancini too wrote it. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Cary Grant, Audrey Hepburn, highly inspired by North by Northwest. Yeah, pretty much. Often called the most Hitchcockian film that Hitchcock never made, or the best Hitchcock film that Hitchcock never made. Good point. You think public domain should be only after the family? So I'm not of that. I don't take it that far. I think at some point you got to say, you know what, enough time has passed. You know, it's wonderful that your great grandfather 100 years ago created this thing, but other people can use it. I think that I'm not like a strictest like you know. I don't. It was said that Sonny Bono thought that Shakespeare's descendants should be still making royalties on Shakespeare's works. I'm not that far. I don't go that far. But like public domain, I was thinking about it the other day, and like we all know Shakespeare and we all have differing opinions on Shakespeare, but we all respect Shakespeare's contribution to the English literature tradition, right? I would say American, but he's definitely not American. The English tradition of literature. We all agree that Shakespeare is really important. So, name one other playwright that was Shakespeare's peers at the time that had any impact whatsoever. I'm sure somebody can pull Wikipedia it up real quick and figure out who his rivals were, but no one else comes close during that time period. And you can't imagine that during Shakespeare's time he was the only playwright out there. He couldn't have been, obviously. There had to be dozens of others, playwrights working at the time. And none of their work matters anymore. So, like, as much as public domain is important for someone like Shakespeare, there's so much other stuff that's just public domain that we don't even care about. It's like, who cares? My point with that exactly is that public domain really only matters for stuff that's wanted. That otherwise, it's just more stuff in the library that no one's going to read. It might be obviously of interest to people, but like of monetary economic value, what does it have? There you go. I reserve this right for corporations lifetime to authors plus 10 years so what would happen with corporations if you did lifetime for authors plus 10 years for author's estate and royalties is basically the corporation decides, well, we're just going to put that guy in charge. And then then that person would own the copyright. And that's, I think, what they do in Europe actually is the director is the copyright holder, and they would license. So like say, this corporation has my permission to basically make copies of this and sell it. And then we worked out a deal where I'm going to make a certain percentage of the money and so forth. And they're going to pay for this and this and that, but I still hold the copyright. So that's how Europe handles it, basically. Like in America, we have that carve out for the work for hire, which allows the corporation to own it, which is I think a little bit neater rather than making having the corporation basically designate a copyright holder person, right, to handle it. So royalties. The thing is, and then the second part of your thing is, and the royalties if a corporation decides to monetize it. But it's not the corporation that's monetizing, it's still the copyright holder. So like I am the copyright holder, I grant this company or even this person, maybe not even a corporation, have another person, I grant them permission to sell this, but I'm holding it, so I'm monetizing it. I'm just selling it to this guy, and this guy's selling to this guy. So you see how you still always run into those issues. You've got to just accept the fact that you gotta just take the whole grain. It's like it's just got to be out there. The thing also, I think that people miss about copyright is just because you copyright, like, are you unable to get a copy of Harry Potter? Are you unable to get a copy of whatever? And no, you aren't. So something that's in copyright doesn't mean it's out of the public view. It doesn't mean it's out of the cultural zeitgeist. The harder problem is those what's called orphan works. Orphan works are where the copyright holder can't be found. And so like, well, this is a great poem. This is a great song, but no one knows where the copyright holder is. And I would love to share it. I'd love to use it as part of my work, maybe license it for my work, but I can't find the artist or can't find who owns the copyright. That in that situation, and we know it's under copyright because it's under a certain time period. That situation's a lot hairier, and I like that's still up in the air. Maybe we make a thing where it's like if you demonstrate a good faith effort to try to find the copyright holder, then you use it, and the copyright holder shows up and says demands money. Well, there's a limit on how much money. I don't know. That has to be figured out. Anyhow. Due to the public domain, everyone released it to death in VHS and DVD. Strangely enough, it hasn't had the case with Blu-ray era. Was Universal somehow able to appeal to fix the error? Maybe. So there's a case of that. Can you get something out of the public domain? No, you can't actually get anything out of public domain. However, the case of the It's a Wonderful Life demonstrates that what you can do is figure out what you do own that's still under copyright. And I think with that case it's because you would say that, hey, we own, I'm sure Frank Sinatra's people or somebody owns the rights to the song, the soundtrack. That's how they did it with It's a Wonderful Life. They still own the rights to the story, and they still own the rights to the song. So if I own those rights, then the movie is a derivative of those of the soundtrack and the story. Therefore, I can lay claim on the story, even though it's public domain. Well, not the story. I can lay claim on the movie because it's public domain. That's how you get it. Now, if you want to make your own movie, it's basically like Charade, but it's different characters, slightly different plot line. You could probably get away with that. I was going to count for one comment for Man with a Movie Camera. It's Dzim Vertov filming regular people, places in their daily life. Well, I mean, I'll answer that. The question is still copyright by the person that made it. Don't confuse copyright with something else besides like right of privacy and endorsement and stuff like that, and association stuff like that, because that's a different thing. That's a different thing. It doesn't actually interfere with copyright, because copyright is about copying something. the right to copy. I actually think you should go back to 75 years for public domain because the average lifespan feels like 95 is just too long. Well, 75. So the reason why it's life plus 75 years or life plus 75 years is the theory was that it's a 2-generational thing. Like you know your parents, and you most likely know who your grandparents are. So, and if a generation's like 35 years, like that's how long life expectancy would go. That's what the thought is. Now, will it ever go back? No. Just put that away. It's never going to go back. Once you let the genie out of the bottle, it's probably never going to go back. I don't think there's any push to make it longer, so don't worry about that part of it. And the account says if it's old enough, it belongs to the public. I actually agree with that. I actually agree with that. My thing is longer than you guys are comfortable with. John loves his copyright law. I certainly do. You want to talk about taxes instead? You want to talk about tax theory and policy? Why it's okay to write off stuff? Because when you run a business, I know this for firsthand, writing off stuff is a great way to lower your tax bill. It's also a great way to lose money. Very good way to not have any money left in the bank. It's kind of like it's like holding your child hostage, or not child. Let's not get too dark. Holding someone hostage. I'm not going to give it to you. You're not going to take my money. I'm going to spend it before I give it to you, IRS. Uncle Sam, I'm going to spend this money before I hand it over to you. And the IRS is like, go ahead, son. I was just thinking, the government, Uncle Sam is Tommy Lee Jones in The Fugitive. It's like, I'm going to jump. Go ahead, man. Never mind. Like the rest of the legal system, it just depends on who has the most money for lawyers. Pretty much. So I remember reading about trademark law. Like trademark law and trademark cases are essentially boils down to 3 things: money, ego, and I think time. Like that's basically all it is. The People versus George Lucas is an excellent exploration of the question of who owns the art, the public or the creators. I think that's retarded. I'm sorry. No, people don't own the art. Well, not in our system. They don't. That's the whole point of copyright. I don't trust. Here's the thing. I don't trust any popular as in pop culture or I don't trust any of that shit because it's just like it's just dumb. Like the bringing up People versus George Lucas is sort of like you're targeting George Lucas. You're shading everything with the emotional attachment to Star Wars. That's basically it. Like the thing is, so I think Star Wars is, I've done this a couple times. I'm sorry. Apologize if you heard me go down this. Not Nerd Writer. CGP Grey made a whole thing about Star Wars, why he was pro public domain. He's like, hey, if Star Wars only had a third 25-year public domain, then, by the time this video came out, we could have a whole bunch more Star Wars. We could have every studio making a Star Wars movie. Wouldn't that be great, guys? Wouldn't it be great to have all the Star Wars? And now we live in 2023, and Disney has basically destroyed Star Wars. It just goes to show you that, no, having more Star Wars probably wasn't a good thing. And I agree. Oh, yeah, it's because Disney is a bad... No, if it was public domain, it would lose value. Like, how many kids get excited about going to see that new Dracula movie? You guys want to see that new Dracula movie? Oh, my God, it's Dracula. Aren't you excited for Dracula? It's going to be like all the kids are going to go see the new Dracula movie. Aren't you? Don't you want to go see Dracula? Like it's just such a cool character, right? Everyone wants to see Dracula. No one gives a shit about Dracula. No one cares. Dracula, no one gives a shit about Dracula. You have Blackula. You got probably Chinese Dracula somewhere around there. You've got the European, the Hammer Studios Dracula. No one cares. No one gives a flying F about Dracula. That's what happens in public domain. Public domain is where things go to just morph into other shit. And that's fine. That's great. You want that public domain. I'm not saying you don't want it. But it doesn't improve culture the way you think it does. you improve culture by incentivizing creators to create new cool things. And you do that by waving a little carrot that says you can make a shitload of money for 90 years if you make cool shit. That's what copyright's for. It's not like, oh, we're going to let you make this cool money, but only for 20 years because fuck you. If you make something popular, it's all going to be thrown out the public domain and then people can just shit on it. Sorry. Oh, good. Hopefully you got my text yet? Let's see. Yay, she said thank you. Good. I'm off the hook. She's got the file. Good. Whew. I feel less. Anyhow, people who know literature and theater history will certainly know about great writers who are contemporaries of Shakespeare, writers that are valued by theater fans, literature fans, not mainstream. I don't know. Sure, if you're a historian, you might be able to tell me who his contemporaries were, but culturally, do they matter? Oh, your friend's a copyright lawyer? I would like to hear their opinion. I mean, I think I have some opinions about copyright. I wonder are a little bit more radical, I think, than people. I don't know, or I might be right in line with like modern copyright thinking. American Graffiti has just come out with a bad 4K transfer to UHD. Oh, that sucks. Because they scrubbed the grain too much. Oh, yeah. Probably Lucas is to blame. There's another question. Now that streams are on YouTube, does the video belong to you or YouTube? It belongs to me, period. There's no question about that. It's actually in the terms of service. So what happens with YouTube, and this happens with every online platform, Facebook, they basically say, you grant us permission to copy your content. Like by signing up, I grant YouTube permission to copy my content for delivery. I don't grant YouTube to take my video and remix it. That's not inside the YouTube agreement or Facebook or any of those, Twitter or any of the X or whatever you want to call it. So no, I own the copyright, period. But the thing is, I can't revoke. I mean, anytime I can take my video down, stuff like that. But I own the copyright. By signing up and, being part of the program and all that stuff, I'm giving YouTube permission to basically be the distributor of my material. The same thing with if you made a movie and you worked with like Warner Brothers, let's pick them again, and you gave them permission to basically distribute your movie, you would still own the copyright. You might, but you're giving them a license to basically make copies of it. That's what that means. Yeah, just think Dracula and Frankenstein 1931 are about to go public domain in a few years. But I did a lecture on Friday the 13th, on October Friday the 13th, and I think I bored my students. I don't know. I mean, so the weird thing is my students, I've got like a lot of students that are kind of failing in the class, which is like, how do you fail a video class? Well, you do so by not turning in your projects. That's how you fail. What can I do? Like, you didn't turn in your big project. But anyhow, I feel like I'm boring them because I talk a lot about film history. I talk a lot. I'm probably the only teacher that talks about film history to the extent I do. I just don't know. I don't know. It seems like they're interested because they keep coming back to class. I get like an 80% turnout from all my classes. So maybe they I don't know. It's hard to judge this generally. I did one of those called CTE, which is Career Technology Education, or Direct Technology Engineering Pathways at high school. So high schools in California, at least, are doing some really cool stuff. If I was going to high school today, I would have so much fun, because in my day it was like you were part of band. Maybe you did like shop class. Maybe you did like choir. Maybe you did theater. I wish I did more theater, but whatever. It is what it is. And that was it. But nowadays they've got like robotics. You can do a robotics pathway. You can play with 3D printers. You can do engineering. You can do video production, media arts projects, culinary. Like in my area, culinary is a huge thing among schools because these kids, granted, they're not meant for like college bound, necessarily like high college bound, and like you're not taking a bunch of AP classes like physics or history. Maybe that's not what your goal is, but you can go in the culinary route and like start preparing, do like serving and cooking and kind of pursue that path. Sorry, my nose is going. I don't know why my nose is getting stuffy. But yeah, culinary is a big thing. So they asked me to come out and be on a panel to talk to students about what I do. And I was in there with a farmer, because we also have like the farming 4-H club. The farming guy was from an olive farm that's near where I live. It's really kind of famous because Zoe Deschanel went there. I remember watching the Zoe Deschanel video. And then we had a engineer from Northrop Grumman. We had a fire captain, and then a sous chef from Pachanga, which is the big Indian casino near me. And man, the students were quiet. They didn't ask a lot of questions. I had one student that came up to me afterward and was like, "Hey, I want to ask you, we'll do a screenwriting." I'm like, "Well, just start writing scripts. You're familiar with like Save the Cat by Blake Snyder?" I was like, it's not the holy grail, but it's a good place to start to kind of get an idea of what screenwriting. It's like, yeah, I know that book, and it was like super like, I am so much better. I'm just gonna make art, man. Like the scripts I write are just art. And I'm like, good on you. Let's see how you survive. I've been ignoring your chat talking about my CTE pathways. Let's jump ahead to the later chats and pick up something a little sooner than 10 minutes ago. So if you left a chat that you want me to read, just put it back in there. What social media apps are your kids raving about besides IG, YT, and Snap? Is there something they're great? TikTok. Like I do like a watching assignment every week. You have to tell me what you watched that week in 100 words or less. Just explain to me what you thought, what you watched, and how you wanted to incorporate that in your work. And half of the stuff I get are TikTok videos. And that's okay, because I want them. I'm not gatekeeping like, video productions only movies, only commercials for clients. No, it's also YouTube. It's also TikTok. I'm sorry, guys. TikTok, even though I hate TikTok because I don't like the communist Chinese, it's what people watch. It's what people use. So learning video production also involves if you're going to work on TikTok, you need to know that stuff. Anyhow, my favorite writer died childless. My favorite character and her has been adapted into 5 films and a radio play, a theater play. I want to adapt it in my way. Public domain is good for creativity. Yes, it's fine for creativity. I don't think it's honestly. I don't think it's. Feels to me like it's actually Wouldn't it be better if you made your own ideas and made your own characters? That's like a good example, or maybe a terrible example, is 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Grey was originally a fanfic of Twilight, right? But they're like Twilight's like, but they couldn't make money on Twilight, so they changed everything and made new characters, and they made a whole new franchise of awfulness, right? So that's. But copyright actually necessitated the creation of new work rather than just copying old work. Yeah, meant to include TikTok, huh? Yep. And using frameworks that already works like Batman, Sherlock Holmes. Yeah, but frameworks are not copyright protected. You can use the framework for stuff, but you don't you don't need to, you can't use Batman. You have to create your own character. Because wouldn't it be, if everyone just did Batman movies, we wouldn't have shows like Invincible. We would have shows like The Boys. We would have all these other universes or other stuff. Everyone would just be following the same mainstream thing. So I think the opposite. I think a short public domain decreases the amount of creative work, because everyone would just copy the cool thing. The fact that you can't copy it forces you to create something new. False. Well, I don't know what is false. The example I would give is, if you guys think that having a long copyright destroys creativity or at least diminishes creativity, how do you explain the fact that ever since 1976, when the American system adopted the world's system of copyright protection, how do you explain the massive increase of the entertainment industry since then? If public domain really stifles creativity, then how do you explain the fact that basically there's way more creative work today than there ever? Oh, you're talking about the talk about you. Anyhow, it wasn't addressed to you necessarily, petrosexual, but that's what my argument is. How do you explain that since '76 we've had huge growth of creative works, huge, like massive growth? And part of it, I would explain that part of it is technology has made it possible. But I think that just is proof that copyright protection does not stifle creativity at all. In fact, honestly, I don't think it plays that much into it at all. Frankly, I think long copyright protection doesn't necessarily hurt or help creativity. Oh, you'll never make a good picture maker unless you know film history. Yeah, I think so. I think what happens is I think you'll never be a picture maker unless you know films, not necessarily film history, because I don't think you necessarily need to know like Charlie Chaplin style. But if you watch a lot of your modern times, I equate that to jazz. So, and when I was playing in jazz bands at the college, because I was a community volunteer. And they would always hammer into the students, listen to jazz, man. You can't learn jazz unless you listen to jazz, listen to players and try to figure out what they're doing, and then try to learn from them. Listen to your peers, listen to contemporary music, listen to old music, listen. And I think the exact same thing's true with films. Yeah. There you go. Dracula's undoubtedly a literature classic and an icon in pop culture too. Making Dracula films is not special because anyone can do it. It's a different matter if you make a good one that stands out. It's true. Absolutely. But absolutely. I'm not even going to doubt it. You have to watch the copyright videos. Yeah, the copyright videos I think give you a lot more understanding of like where the copyright philosophy comes from. And I love to hear what the lawyers think, because I don't know if the lawyers necessarily agree with me on the philosophy, but I think the philosophy is key, and something that rather people don't get. I rather wrote an original or adapt a great character instead of 1,000 original ripoffs. I think Invincible characters just took too similar to most superheroes, because that's why I avoid it. I'd rather write an original or adapt a great character instead of 1,000 original ripoffs. I don't understand that. Because if you made public domain short, you'd get 1,000 ripoffs, and they would be completely legal. That's all you would get. You would just get ripoff. Like I think people, they don't ever. Basically, it's like playing checkers, right? Like the whole playing chess is thinking 3 moves down. I think with public domain, you're thinking only one move, and you're thinking your move. You don't think about what like a copyright or a copyist would do, because they just rip you off. Like, what would Disney do if all of a sudden it could just make as many? What would all the studios do if Star Wars was public domain? Like, if Star Wars was public domain, what do you think Warner Brothers would make? They make a Star Wars movie. If well, maybe not that Disney destroyed Star Wars, but I'm saying if it was popular, that's why I think public domain you have to make sure it's no longer popular. If it's popular, then people are just going to exploit the shit out of it. Like the exploitation is, well, maybe that's how I approach things. I look at the world through exploitation, market exploitation. Anything that will get exploited, anything that can be exploited will be exploited by virtue of technology. Sort of the way I feel about AI. If we want to throw another rat into this conversation, right? I feel like AI is a race to the bottom, because AI will just make there's no cost barrier to entry for AI. So basically, you have a million people creating a million AI images, and the value of that kind of image will go to zero because there's supply and demand. There's way more supply than there ever will be demand for it. The same thing with pop culture and public domain stuff. If there's a huge demand for a particular product and there's no limit on the supply, then it will just oversaturate, be exploited to the point where the value is zero. Ah, that sounded smart. Like sometimes I can pull that off. Sometimes I can sound smart, but I don't know. Maybe it sounds smart, but I'm probably like, John, this is bullshit. Taxpayer owns that video. I'm not a complicated man. I like cinema. I love it. So I watched a Serbian film. Okay. You don't tell us what that Serbian... Oh, a Serbian film. Not just some random Serbian film. I don't even know what that is. Like, sorry guys, I am way out of... Like, I've been working so much, I don't even know what's what anymore. Serbian film was a 2010 Serbian exploitation horror film produced and directed by Srdjan... I can't pronounce Serbian words. And his feature... Okay. Alexander Skarsgård? I don't know. Red Band trailer. Oof. Oh, did I put that up there or not? There we go. All right. What's my favorite aspect ratio for shot composition? If you have to shoot any one aspect ratio of life, would you choose? 2.39. I like the look of 2.39, although I purposely avoid it because I don't want to ruin it. I'm dainty with my 2.39. I'm very dainty with it. Sometimes, I'll like if I shot a short film in 2.39, I'm like, or shoot a film with the intention of not being 2.39, like the intention of being like 16:9 or anything more, I will put the 2.39. I'm like, oh, I want to do this so bad, but I can't justify it. I can't justify it. When you do a copyright video on Sherrod, that's not a bad one if I dig through it, because the one I did on It's a Wonderful Life was really interesting. It always used to get picked up during Christmas time, not so much anymore. But I think I will look into that. Oh, so it's a good one. The Serbian film is a great statement. The filmmakers are tired of victim films, so they made this film. I'm kind of interested in that now. By the way, Universal actually has the copyright on the music for any outside uses outside the movie. Interesting. Whoa. Can you name 3 movies that, in your opinion, would be essential and sufficient to watch for someone who doesn't know anything about making a movie but wants to learn enough to make a great one? Ooh. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna toy with your premise because I don't think 3 movies is enough for that. But let's play along. Why not? Let's play along. 3 movies that would be, and you guys can play along too. Put in your comments. So doesn't know anything about making a movie, but wants to learn enough to make a great one. Oh gosh. Well, I guess we could parse. Does the question involve movies that about making movies? I think immediately Bulworth comes to my mind. Bulworth is a movie about making movies. One of my favorite movies about making movies. God, that's a tough question. I don't know how to answer it fairly, because here's the thing. Like, I could tell you to go watch Goodfellas, right? If I told you to go watch Goodfellas and then watch Pulp Fiction and then watch Clerks, Kevin Smith, right? Okay, I'm picking movies literally from the 90s era, right? I could tell you to go watch those movies, but then you would make a movie that's in that era, that wouldn't be necessarily modern. It'd have that kind of approach to it. I could tell you to go watch Citizen Kane. And, Citizen Kane I consider obviously very important historically. Do I find it very entertaining? No, I don't. If you watch Citizen Kane and you made a movie in the style of Citizen Kane, it would be very dry and boring for modern audiences. So, let's go with that. Let's see. Did anybody else have a comment? Listen to director commentaries? Yeah. What was the one? It was Ben Affleck on Michael Bay Armageddon. That was a really good commentary. Here you go. Count's got one. Let's go for this one here. Oh, come on, pull up. Account for Comment had a couple. Let's read his. Rejo Nujikan and W No Tragedy and Why Don't You Play in Hell are his three. There you go. I've never heard of any of those, so I guess I'll never make a great movie. Mark McKinney says, so now that there are no barriers to making a film, we are drowning in a sea of bad movies looking for something good. Yeah. That's kind of like, so again, that goes along the same idea when I say like the public domain, right? If there are no barriers to making a movie, basically you flood the playing field with crap. So if there's no barriers to get on Tubi, what do you think Tubi's going to have? A bunch of crap. So Matthias is a good point. AI with a prompt has a fatal flaw. You have no defined control. Digital tools like Photoshop are unbeatable in that control. AI work alongside. Yeah, so AI, Photoshop's AI is pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, so I got 20 people watching here. I'm going to tell you something very, very bad. All right, with Photoshop AI. You got to promise, do not tell Adobe because I don't want them fixing this bug. You got to swear. Swear to me right now that you will not tell Adobe that maybe you try this, and hopefully I won't even get kicked off of YouTube for saying this. All right, do you guys promise me you won't pass this out? Like, I'm going to give you a secret that eventually 1,000 people they'll never get this far in the video. They'll give up really early. Trust me. All right, 20 people. You guys are with me right now, okay? Seriously, I need some confirmation, guys. Give me some confirmation that you won't spread this, or else I'm not going to tell you. All right. You don't have to go. I won't tell. There you go. Okay, with you. All right, here we go. Left-hand puppetry. Good. All right. I did so Photoshop's AI is pretty cool. Like, I can literally highlight I took some pictures of these student of the months, and I had people in the background milling about, and I took my marquee tool, I drew a box around them, and I went, remove people. And sure enough, it deleted the people and it filled in the background. Amazing. Okay, but that's not the secret I'm telling you. That's not the secret. I thought, how can I be really naughty with this technology? I highlighted all the students and I wrote, make these people black. Oh boy. What Photoshop gave me back was so... I couldn't stop laughing for like 20 minutes because it was so stereotypical, like racist shit. It oh my Lord. So, find some... if you have Photoshop... I'm not going to show it to you. I've gotten rid of it. I've gotten rid of it because I'll probably burn in hell for doing that. It was so ridiculously, like, Photoshop's Firefly does not do good people. Like, it can't make people. It's really not good at it at all. And so these are like some effed up black people. And then I was like, well, okay, that's a little racist to make black people. Make them Japanese. And holy moly, made up a bunch of like samurai, like sushi chefs. It's just like, oh my God. Just thinking about it was like, and it was so like, it was like Japanese people. Like if the AI was trained on Mickey Rooney's portrayal of the Japanese upstairs neighbor from Breakfast at Tiffany's, it was so bad. Don't tell Adobe, please, because I don't want, because, this will get leaked out and someone will try it and then they'll tell Adobe, and then all Adobe's like, well, we can't allow any of that to happen. And all of a sudden now you can't prompt anything because Adobe's like watching every freaking word. You can't even say like a woman in her swimsuit. You can't even say that because it's too naughty. Could you imagine if they got rid of the, anyhow. All right. It's out there. It's out there. Someone's going to report it to Adobe, and I'm going to trace it back to one of you folks. You will answer. It'll be like a big scandal. Like, oh my God, AI is like super racist. I mean, it is super racist. I remember if you ever watched like AI's idea of what every person from every American state looks like, and they're all white people. It's like they're all white people. Like AI doesn't think that black people exist in America. So anyhow. Yeah. There's my secret. You got it. Got it from the horse's mouth. Don't tell anybody. Don't mention the war. I think I got away with it. On the other hand, Andre Bazin was deeply suspicious of directors such as Hitchcock, whose Bazin considered too manipulative, lacking the neutral and realistic perspective that he believed in cinema. The big danger of AI really is making fake news and manipulation easier than ever. That's why it's worrying. Yeah, the thing is, though, like, I don't think you need AI to make fake news easy. This is going way back to 2003 or 2004 or 2005 when Arnold Schwarzenegger was running for California governor. And I was a substitute teacher at the time, and the teachers union hated Schwarzenegger, hated him. In fact, so Schwarzenegger gets in the office basically kind of because Gray Davis sucks, and it was was just like lame and not interesting. And Arnold was cool because Arnold was Arnold, right? So he gets in there, but the thing is, his first thing was to try to reform education in California. And California's education system is broken beyond hell. It's just, we spend so much money. Like every movie you see where the teacher has to work a second job, yeah, unless you're in California, where the starting salary is like $50,000, out of school, which, is not like amazing money, but it's not money where you need to like work a second job. It's not that low. And if you get a doctorate, by the time if you're able to work up to a doctorate, that's, get a master's, get a doctorate, you'd be making like 100 plus a year as a teacher. And then when you retire, you get that 100% of your salary for the rest of your freaking life. So, you get you work up to a doctorate and then you retire, and then, hey, well, you have to work for like a few years, right? But then, then basically you're still being paid exactly what you were, but you're not working at all. So, lots of money. Anyhow. So I had this idea back in 2005 but the teachers union was so powerful. They basically would just make up shit and just make up whatever you want about Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it would just, Arnold Schwarzenegger wants to eliminate this, wants to do that. Like they would have eaten it up. So I had this idea back in those days before like fake news was a thing. Like what if we just wrote like fake news and they'd see if we could pass it off? And I bet people would believe it. Like, yeah, it could have been done back then. So fake news is not about proof, because people that believe fake news don't believe it because of the proof. People believe it because it aligns with their opinion. It aligns with their reality. So whether it's, even if it's obviously fake, people will still believe it because it aligns with their opinion. That's why. Oh, ChatGPT? Yeah. What about the teachers, John? What about, yeah, like I do these educational things. I'm looking at these teachers, I'm on, the female teachers that are still single, maybe they want to, hook up with me, and I can, I don't mind. I would not mind marrying a teacher. I feel like we would be compatible intellectually. Well, depends. Depends on the teacher. Might as well be a cop in Beverly Hills and make 150. I didn't know that. Wow. Well, cops in Beverly Hills have to get called up to a lot of like people dying from crack cocaine. Cognitive bias. Yeah. Yep. Cognitive bias. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, you can use AI to like create real scandals and stuff like that, but fake news is fake news. People are going to buy it no matter what. Andre Bazin, really deeply adored Citizen Kane, or revered, saw as the pinnacle of everything he thought cinema should be strive to be realism. Hence is why he loved the long takes and deep focus. Yeah. Why are grad students part of the UAW? I don't know. Are they? UAW, is that the auto workers? I don't know. That's not my forte. Bazin is legendary French film critic. He played a part in Citizen Kane's canonization. Yep. He's the Cahiers du Cinema, right? The cinema notebooks that kind of started the whole auteur theory stuff. Have you ever seen the Uwe Boll film? No, I have not. Oh, I got to tell you. Okay, so here's my review of Showgirls. Are you ready for this? So I watch, the first thing I watched when I got Paramount Plus was I watched the South Park Panderverse episode. So that was pretty good. I enjoyed that. I mean, what's more to say about the Panderverse? It's that hasn't been said, right? Good for you. Don't watch the Uwe Boll. All right. I mean, I'm a connoisseur of bad cinema. The guys were asking me if I've watched all these like Asian cinema classics. I'm like, no, I've watched Trolls 2. I watched Deathstalker 2. That's the movies I watch. And then the second movie I watched on Paramount Plus because it was advertised to me was Showgirls. So I remember as a kid watching Showgirls and thinking like, oh, this has got to be sexy as hell, and I was never really paying attention to the plot. Well, this time I'm 41 years old, so I can watch Showgirls now, and Samurai Cop. That's a great movie too. I can watch Showgirls and really appreciate the nuance of the writing, the nuance of the plot development, the exquisite detail paid to the acting from Elizabeth Berkley, who is just should have been awarded an Oscar for Showgirls. It was amazing accomplishment. Watching it again from the lens that I've now acquired, and that lens being a Nikon f1.2 50 millimeter lens. The 50 millimeter lens shaded with an understanding of cinema through educating myself the classics such as Trolls 2, Samurai Cop, as we've been mentioning. I'm not joking, MKL. Why would you say that about what I'm saying? I am not joking. I'm talking about Trolls 2. What else did I watch? Deathstalker 2. Hard Nights in Hawaii. That's another excellent one. These are truly the pinnacles of cinema. Having experienced and relishing the flavor, I want to say tannins, if that makes sense. If you're a wine connoisseur, you will understand like the tannins gives you that mouthfeel, and the mouthfeel of a truly awesome movie like Showgirls can only be appreciated once you've acquired that taste. The taste of money is what they said. Showgirls has some incredible lines. Would you mind if I were to perform a scene from Showgirls? Now, to be fair, I imagine you are all like over 18 here, or at least in the realm. This may not be quite appropriate for younger viewers. There's a scene in Showgirls. I'm trying to remember the actor's name. His name is David Navi. No, it's not. He's not Navi. That's a character from that movie, the Blue People movie, Avatar. What is the guy's name? Showgirls actor. Not Kyle MacLachlan. Kyle MacLachlan looks old. No, he is old, but he's like gray haired now. The great, amazing actor. There he is. Robert Davi. All right. This is the most amazing scene ever from Showgirls. And so what happens is Robert Davi is the proprietor of the Cheetah, which is a bar in which women will dance with very little clothing on for the entertainment of men. All right, do you follow that? I mean, I don't know if you've heard of this. So this is in Las Vegas, right? So he's the proprietor, very very well-to-do gentleman, and he's with his comic female friend. I don't know sure she's an MC, but her thing is she slaps her elbows down and her top pops open, right? She's very very heavy set too. So it's done in a humorous, non-sexual way. Anyhow, they're coming to Nomi is the character's name. Nomi is our protagonist, and she is a young starlet. She started working at Robert Davi's place, but then decided to become part of this larger show, right? And is a very tender moment between Robert Davi and Elizabeth Berkley. A very father kind of realizing that his daughter has surpassed even his greatest expectations of her. It's that moment of pride, of fatherly pride that he has toward her. And to see that he truly is proud of what she's accomplished by becoming part of this larger show. It's emotional. It's emotional, really is. So he's like, I'm proud of you, kid. And he touches her gently on the cheek. And by cheek, I mean facial cheek. Right? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you, Nomi. Then he turns around and he starts to walk away. Then he realizes he has one last thing. It's like he turns back to his now newly graduated daughter with all the pride of a father just seeing his protege succeed. He says, "Man, it must be weird to not have guys come on you." Best line read in all of cinema. All of cinema is that line. If you have not seen the movie, and you're willing to accept the fact that there's a lot of nudity and most of it's not very sexual at all, it's kind of ugly, I would say watch it, especially for that line. Or just look up that line itself. I couldn't stop laughing for 10 minutes when I've seen the movie before. I just didn't remember that line, but it was so beautiful. Must be weird to not have guys come on you. I'm not kidding you. It's played like it's a serious, tender moment. But it also plays to the fact that maybe Asterhaus and Verhoeven were just literally fucking with us. The movie's just a complete whatever, guys. This movie's just stupid. So yeah, Tarantino liked the movie. He considered one the first time they made a truly exploitative movie on that kind of budget scale. Well, yeah, let's not let that be the last thing I talk about in this live stream. Yeah, that was a beautiful, beautiful moment. I know you guys are quiet. You guys are probably watching that clip right now. Probably just popping up Paramount Plus and being like, I need to watch this thing. So, yeah. Alrighty. Let's go back to your comments. Let's see. Best movie ever made was Loaded Weapon #1. Loaded Weapon. I don't know if I've heard of that one. Yes. I have completely shutted down the chat section. I love it. You guys are, maybe it's the delay. Maybe you're hearing me recite the line right at that moment and you are so shocked. Oh no, my viewers are going up. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, I'm going to get canceled for saying that line on the internet, even though it exists already out there on YouTube. Sam Jackson and Emilio Estevez. Very good. I will do that. Let's do Sam Jackson and Emilio Estevez. For the win. All right. I just counted. Hold on. I got to wait for the comment to come rolling through. I just counted, and Robert Davi has made 95 movies since Showgirls. Robert Davi is not a he's not a guy that sits on his butt. He's definitely a guy that you offer him a little bit of money and you ask him to be in your movie. He'll probably be in your movie. He's literally, yeah, he's like a working actor kind of a thing. He just literally, I think he just likes to be in movies. And it doesn't matter like how much you pay him. He'll just be, my God, he's been in 130 movies. Where is it? Since Goonies, Die Hard. Oh man, he's a singer too, apparently. Yeah, like a crooner. Yeah. Please look at the cat poster for the Marvels. All right, let's do it. Let's look at the cat poster. Cat. Oh my keyboard's being weird. Cat. Damn it. Cat. Damn it, keyboard. All right. There it goes. Okay, like now it's working. Cat. Oh, dang it. Oh, for God's sakes. Well, we're not going to look at the cat poster. Oh, Lord. I hate wireless stuff sometimes. Just, I can't even copy because I can't hit Control C. Cat. Sorry. All right, fuck that. My God, it's so annoying. Does my shirt say CM on it? So my shirt says CIMG, which is Creative Industries Media Group, which is a company I created in 2003, before the invention of SD cards. Back when we used to have to, record stuff on tape and all that crap. Well, then I got, eventually I got myself a Canon Rebel camera, and I realized that when you shoot an image, the default is Canon Image, Canon IMG. I was like, oh, that's a clever coincidence. So yeah, now my stuff is like CIMG. Like, it works perfectly. All right, let's see if we can just copy and paste. Copy, search. There we go. It's not a bad poster. You guys want to see what the poster looks like? Let's see. There we go. Go to my desktop. There's my desktop. Is this the cat poster? This guy right here? Marvel's cat poster? Is it become a meme or something? Oh, okay, because Spider-Man. Okay, that's cool. I dig it. So everyone's like just catting it up. There's the cat I like. Black cat. Ooh. Google knows me too well, giving me a bunch of black cat stuff. Even though I don't really know the character, I just know like in 3D printing world, she's pretty popular. So cat. No, yeah, cats. There you go. Cat poster. Back to me. Now back to me. Now back to your guy. Which one smells better? Probably not me. All right, there we go. We're just, God, this thing. I hate wireless sometimes. All right, back to the comment section. Cancel. All right, where's the best place to learn how to make a commercial? You just make them. You just keep making them. That's really how you do it. You make commercials. If you're interested in like the actual, the thing with what you call it, if you understand like the philosophy or the strategy of commercials, then look into like things like advertising theory and stuff like that. Your Indian food's almost here. I would like to have some Indian food. I bought at Costco. I bought a pineapple chicken curry that was pretty good. I want to learn how to make tiki masala. Should be pretty easy, apparently. You know, the cat thing would play more with me if I wasn't allergic to cats. I like cats, but man, oh man, they do not like me. My allergies do not like me. It'll take only 1 or 2 disconnection while gaming for someone to give up on wireless controls while gaming. You look like you don't play much. Not on this thing, I don't. This is on my streaming computer, and for some reason, like ever since I think it has to do where I place the what you call it, the receiver is on the back end of the box. I think that's why, because I'm having a lot of interference. Maybe it's also this thing. Maybe this whole big hunk of iron is probably causing it to block the signal. Let's try that. Did you watch Bottoms? No, I couldn't find it. Also didn't look very hard. I want to also watch. So I also got on my list the Blackberry movie and Tetris. Well, I know, and also the what's it called? I want to watch that because I think Count was asking me about Asian cinema, and I want to watch. I think what's the name of that? It's the one about something Dreams, Beijing Dreams or something like that. I don't remember the green looking one. I'm not very good with names, or have much time to watch anything. Damn this keyboard! I just put new batteries in it too, so well, it's obviously not that. So I give up. Is that a Super 8? So I think this, I don't know if it's Super 8. This guy is, this is a beast. It is an 8mm camera. I don't know if it's Super 8 though. This is the kind of camera that they would have taken with them on D-Day. It's literally, I could see why, because it literally could be shot with a gun and it probably would survive because it's so freaking heavy. It's literally an iron box, right? That film has obviously been exposed, and it's not gonna affect anything in there. But yeah, this is the old 70E. I forget the name of the thing. What is this? Oh my god, this is heavy. This is the Bell and Howell Company film. Where is it? Bell and Howell Company, Chicago, film registered camera 70 as in 70. But it's 8mm. It's not 70mm. That's for obvious sakes. Silent camera. But this is used a lot in documenting like battlefield and stuff like that. I don't think this was actually in World War II. I think this was probably a 50s model, maybe. But yeah, these were the cameras they landed on in D-Day. I probably could just kill a Nazi by just hitting him with it. Just boom. Psh, dead. Beijing Dreams? I think that's the one. Yeah, what's the director of that movie? I really want to, because we were talking, you guys are giving me, Count for Comments give me crap for not watching Asian films. So I need to watch some Asian films. Wong Kar-wai, is that his name? Yeah, something like that. Is that the one? Beijing Dream? Where is it? Where's the director? I hate IMDb sometimes. No, not Beijing Dreams. Wong. I keep thinking I can type on this thing. I can't type. I might just get a new freaking keyboard. Just roll the key, do the thing. You know, rolling the batteries is kind of like the modern day equivalent of blowing down the cartridge of a Nintendo. Remember that? Yeah, of course you do. Wow, this keyboard is dead. Yep. All right. Well, now it goes. No, it isn't. All right, fuck it. We're done with that keyboard. I can't search anything more, guys. I keep telling myself, there is One Car Y. Chungking Express. Or In the Mood for Love. I want to watch that one. I want to watch In the Mood for Love. Partly because I think what's it called? Everything Everywhere Else pulls a lot from it. What's up, Helium Road? Just saw you come in. Sorry about that. Yeah, I quit using IMDb because they shut down the comment. Yeah, I hear you that. I hear that for sure. Dream Scenario. I haven't heard of that one. Ever watch Old Boy? I never watched Old Boy. Best commercial movie with nudity in it. Any suggestions? I don't know. This is my opinion. Mulholland Drive. I think Mulholland Drive is a masterpiece. Heart attack moment when seeing the film inside the camera a second before he explained it. Yeah. Lord of the Rings is the best movie ever. Well, there you go. That's your opinion. I'm not going to argue with it because I think it's good. It's 4 a.m. there. Yeah, it's late. I don't usually stream this late, but I just am because I did a lot of work today, and I just wanted to chat with you guys and hang out because I'm tired. I wanted to hang out with you guys, and I don't want to keep calling my friends. They're getting tired of talking to me. You never watched a Wong Kar-wai movie? Yeah, that's interesting. You're telling me all these about Asian films and you didn't watch a Wong Kar-wai movie? Yeah, I want to watch In the Mood for Love. I think that I'm in the mood for love. Let's put it that way. Speaking Chungking Express, that's where my mom worked for a while. Chungking Express. No, she worked at Little Chungking. I had a lot of Chinese food as a kid. A lot of leftover Chinese food. Speaking of D-Day, the new All the Light You Can See is on Netflix. Is pretty good. Okay. All the Light You Can See. Old Boy's legitimate masterpiece. I'm sure it is. I just haven't. It just sounds too gritty for me. Panda Express. My mom liked Panda Express when she was alive. There's a video, I think it was like BuzzFeed did it, where they took because I think Panda Express opened up in Beijing or something like that. And they went to they basically had like some like orange chicken from Panda Express, and they gave it out to people and they asked what they thought. And all the young Asian kids are like, this isn't Chinese food. This is bullshit. This is awful. This is shitty Chinese food. And then they gave it to the old people, and the old people were like, it's not bad. It's a little sweet, but yeah, not bad. I like it. I could eat this. Because old people don't give a shit about appearances, and young people were just want to shit on Panda Express. Panda Express is okay. Although I will agree with Rick and Morty when they said, hey, we're having Panda Express again. Oh, okay. Did you get the sugar chicken or the other kind of sugar chicken? Because, yeah, it's mostly sugar chicken. Like when I go to Panda Express, I know we got to explain what's Panda Express. I don't know. I didn't put the comment up, but yeah, Panda Express. So when I go to Panda Express, I never get 2 sugar items. I always try to avoid, when my mom was alive, I used to give her, she used to love the shrimp. So I'll get her like a shrimp, like the walnut shrimp, and then like something that's not sugary. And I'll have like the orange chicken and then something that's not sugary, usually the beef and broccoli. Because I just want like something not sugary from Panda Express. Like the thing also about Panda Express is like, if you notice, it's either chicken or maybe shrimp. That's the only thing they offer. Like beef and broccoli is the only thing that's not chicken or shrimp there. The shrimp is like a $1 extra. But like Panda Express, it's always chicken. Do you want orange chicken? Do you want chicken with string beans? Or do you want chicken kung pao? Do you want chicken with mushroom chicken? Or do you want the chicken and onions? You want chicken. It's like everything's chicken there. Everything's chicken. Like remember back in the day when I was a kid, you'd go to a Chinese food place and you get sweet and sour pork. Sweet and sour pork. Nobody has sweet and sour pork anymore. It's insane. It's insane. Petrosexual wants me to know that Trump just walked into the UFC arena in communist York with Tucker Carlson and Kid Rock. Don't know why I tell you this. There you go. Now we know. Are there many ways to prepare shrimp? Yeah, there's shrimp barbecue, there's shrimp jambalaya, shrimp etouffee, there's shrimp sweet and sour shrimp. I'll tell you, Forrest, lots of ways to prepare shrimp. I haven't watched Forrest Gump in a long time. The best nudity commercial, I went away. The best nudity commercial movie, how is it written? Probably she's naked. My former partner, or old partner at Filmmaker IQ, would tell me this before I got it. Nudity is just another costume. Like sometimes you get a little too precious about nudity. So I'll tell you, okay, this is going to be that hour. This is not bad or anything, right? I've done nude photography before. You know, I admit it's kind of exhilarating and fun, but you get used to the nudity pretty quickly. It's not like a strip club or anything like that. Like when you're dealing with a nude model, and I don't know if any people have shot nudes here, like and shot nudes with somebody you don't know. It's you know, like sometimes you can work it up. Depends on the kind of shots you're trying to do. If you're doing artistic nude, generally you're like, okay, let's start, and then she's like, she's naked, and you're like, okay, let's do this. Let's figure out how to make this shot work. And you just get to work. And have I been aroused during a nude shoot? I don't recall. I don't think so. Like it's like you're too busy. I am too busy focusing on how to create this shot and make it sexy, interesting, enticing, whatever I'm trying to do with the nude shot. Like I'm trying to get it to work. So it's not like oh my God, I got a raging hard on or something. No, you're not thinking that. You're thinking, how can I get this to work out and look good? And so the thing with nudity too is like when you're clothed, there's ways to hide. Like there's ways to hide your rolls of belly fat or whatever. There's ways to hide behind clothes to make someone look attractive. But when there's a nudity, there's a lot of ways to shoot a nude that looks bad. Even with a very beautiful woman or man, I'm not going to judge you guys. You guys do shoot men, that's their thing. But I'm saying with women, there's ways to shoot a nude woman that look not great. So you're working with that. Yeah, I don't know why I'm going on this topic other than just trying to relive my glory days shooting nudes. I'd like to go back and shoot some more. I would like to do a 4x5 film nudes. I just have to find the time to practice before I actually hire a model to come out and do something like that. And B, time. It's time, it's about a time thing. But they're fun to do. It was fun trying to be having a little fun doing some portrait photography. Now, if you're doing like glamour shots, sometimes what you do is you work up to the nude. You start with lingerie and let's take this off, So it's you can kind of work your way to the nude. But for art nudes, and the models aren't, it's just a clothing. It's just a costume for that. Anyhow, I'm going to get canceled, aren't I? I know. That's okay. It's about time. I yelled at that guy on Reddit for screenwriting, so maybe this is all thing. General Tso. Great documentary on General Tso's chicken, by the way. If you can find this documentary. I think it's on Netflix. General Tso's chicken. General Tso's chicken. Great documentary about that, by the way. Invented by, I think, in Taiwan, my home country. Invented in Taiwan at the, I want to say the Grand Hotel in Taiwan. It's called the Grand Hotel. It's the big one in Taipei. But yeah, New York trained chef. Or was it invented in New York? I don't remember. I forget what exactly they traced it back to. But it is Taiwanese in origin. And it was actually invented in the 80s. Love it. Love it. I actually prefer General Tso's chicken to orange chicken. Usually try to get that. Pineapple pizza moment. I like pineapple on my pizza. I don't mind it. My favorite kind of pizza is actually the one I get at Stadium Pizza, which is a pineapple and cashew. I get pineapple, chicken, and cashews, and it's not tomato sauce. It's like kind of like a like a Asian sauce, whatever. And what's the last thing? Not oregano, but the other kind, basil. Thai. It's called Thai basil chicken pizza. I love it. Man, how many times is this going? A lot of times, you betcha. I binge watched the new season of Das Boot is a show. Okay, feels like a more of a love drama with Star Wars sequel type writing. Really, I didn't even know Das Boot was a show. All right, Old Boy is the best spiritual adaptation, wrong word, but of a Greek mythology made by a Korean filmmaker adapted from Japanese comic. Instead of teen girl fanfiction, you got more divine vengeance by human. All right, you're trying to sell me on that. It's starting to sell me a little bit. I kind of like that idea. Oh my God, Fred Thornton, thank you for the super chat. I'm going to read your super chat, word for word, because that's what we do with Fred super chats. Why this man doesn't buy a Mac to avoid computer problems? Good question. Well, that $10 will go to helping me fix my PC. Attaboy Johnny, thank you very much. All right. A friend of mine once shot Rachel Starr. I wonder what the payment was. I think with porn stars is probably not. I mean, they're used to it, right? I mean, it's just for them. It's another paycheck, right? It's just. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I have a thing for there's a star named Blake Blossom. All right, she's kind of my thing, and the reason why I think is she looks like a girl that I used to be madly in love with. I think that's why. But she looks better than that girl. So anyhow. Just check the Portrait Lady in Fire, and it was totally 10 out of 10. Portrait Lady in Fire. There you go. Around the theme. You shot that one naked chick that was in that martini glass that one time. The girl in the martini glass was not naked. None of them weren't. Well, one was topless. We didn't use the topless one. But I used to do a lot of projection photography where I would take like a projector. I would project like patterns onto a nude body. I did that for a while, and I kind of started a trend for a little bit in my area, and it depends on how good your patterns are, and I've been kind of toying with the idea of doing it again, but with more modern technology, with better projectors and stuff like that, and that's kind of part of the reason why I bought a projector. So I kind of was thinking about doing that, but also, I want projector. I want to also maybe try. Another reason why I bought this one is because I might try to do like a rear projection kind of a tutorial or something. Just play with rear projection. So I have a screen that's rear projection. So, all right, because Mac is the problem. I would ask how it would be to write and shoot HBO nudity. It's like they make one show each year to test out how they push the line on as far as nudity and sex on screen. So something like HBO, like it's just like that's very clinical. Like I'm sure there's probably like a bunch of intimacy counselors or intimacy coordinators that will make sure everybody's kosher, for lack of a better word, I guess. Everyone's kosher. They've got like these little bandages that go over like the female parts, and then little hammocks for the males and all that stuff. And they tuck things and get them, all in the right place and all that stuff. Because, you don't want people doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. So, yeah. So anyhow. Do you see Blake Blossom seeing the one on the golf course? I don't think so, but she's made a lot of stuff. Yeah, she looks like a girl that I my last like serious crush, and yeah, let's just leave it there. Nudity, sex, and violence. I must add, the good stuff, right? Why we watch movies? Why we watch movies? For the nudity, sex, and violence. That describes like half of the horror films. I guess with Showgirls is mostly nudity and sex. Anyhow. Yep. There was a time in the 70s and 80s where it seemed like they put nudity in movies just for no reason other than to get into R-rated. Boy, so we covered copyright, which I really love. We talked a little about tax law. And now we're getting to the other topic, which is nudity, sex, and violence. This is an awesome stream, guys. If you guys are still watching this crap. Yeah, they put nudity in movies just to get an R rating. Yeah. I mean, you notice they do that in TV shows. They used to do that in early streaming shows where the first episode was like chock full of nudity. And then, Marvelous Miss Maisel is just the most egregious one of them all. Where it's like that first episode, she just like bears all. And then the rest of the show is this kind of cheeky, kind of like women's fare. It was like such a weird tonal clash, right? Like the rest of the movie turns into the Gilmore Girls, because it's the same writers as Gilmore Girls. Turns out it's like kind of quirky Gilmore Girls, like Jewish upper New York Jewish neighborhood, kind of 50s kind of comedy, dramedy kind of thing. And the first episode's got like some bodacious nudity in it, like seriously bodacious nudity, and like world class. And it's like, what? Wait, what? Ah. NYPD Blue had some man ass in it too, right? Like they got not Jimmy Smits, but that one dude. Do you know Zenit, that's Russian brand with a lot of M42L39 cameras, once collaborated with Leica to make a Zenny M rangefinder camera that looks like a Leica M10 and sells for $5,000 with a 35mm f1. That's pretty cool. I did not know that. I don't even know who Zenit is. I know what Leica is enough to know how to pronounce the name, but I don't know much about anything else of that. I don't have time to know anything else. Does anyone don't talk about how to shoot and edit an event in like less than 4 hours? Oh my god. Strange. Speaking about HBO, among HBO's nudity works, there's one movie that I can't find, which is a scene so beautiful, which drew my attention and stuck in my head. You gotta give me some more. I want to hear about this now. HSN Zentien. You can't just leave us hanging with that information. We need to have more information. Anyhow. Well, my stomach is starting to feel a little hungry, and I ran out of my water. I drank all my water. Boo. I still love, I love the nudity, and that's not HBO I'm thinking of. I'm thinking of Showtime with Spartacus. So I didn't watch the first season of Spartacus. I got into Spartacus the second season, like when they go back in time or something like that. And I always love the guy that plays the slave owner, the master guy. He was like, "By Jupiter's cock!" I love that freaking line. Oh, this is a very R-rated stream. Sorry, guys. This is very, very nasty, very adult. Ugh, very filthy. By Jupiter's cock. There was a level of swearing in that show, which is just amazing. Is amazing. Is that a bottle of wine in the front? Here? That's not wine, buddy. That's Wild Turkey 101 with a fertility idol for a topper. That's Yep, there he goes. Fertility topper. All right. Just for the stream. Have a sip of it. I have not had this for like a long time. By the way, I did make my guava beer, which I've been drinking a lot of that. Not bad. It's okay. I got 2 gallons of 1 gallon of cider cactus fruit brewing away, and then another gallon of cactus fruit honey mead that's brewing away. So there we go. All right. I didn't put that thing up there. All right, never mind. Have you seen the movie Wonderland with Val Kilmer starring John Holmes? No, I have not. Is that a recent one or is that old? It's a perfect amount of... it's a perfect amount of... well, excuse me. Wow. 101. Oof. I'll kick your butt. That will kick your butt. Whew. All right. No more. Not tonight. I'll go home, then I'll have more. My neighbor keeps giving me like booze. He probably feels sorry for me. He's retired and he doesn't have anything to do. So he just like, hey, I went to Costco and I bought like a case of whatever. Want a bottle? Here's a bottle. I'm like, thank you. So he got me this like 15-year-old aged Panama rum. And that stuff is really good. 15-year-old Panama rum is really, really good. It's like the best rum I've ever had. It's amazing. It's a sipping rum. Very, very good. Count for Comment says, I watched Spartacus, the slave owner actor. Once he died, I could not bother to watch the gay porn. Yeah. The showrunner is gay, and he certainly displayed his affection for the male bodies too much for my... Well, yeah, that's true. I'm more of... I hate to use the... I'm more just like... They're all naked. That's cool by me. If it's just one sex that's naked, I'm... Well, if it's women naked, I'm fine with that. But if it's just like... If it's all men, I'm like, eh. But if it's men and women, like, I'll go with that. You need a neighbor like that? Yeah, he's a really nice guy. He and my mom did not get along. My mom was kind of a dick to him. Like, he's like, your mom was really, we had issues, but you're okay. Yeah, my mom was just, oh my God. It was really hard to deal with her. Anyhow, since you have experience in film, any thoughts on digital emulsion of a film look? I will defer to Steve Yedlin for that. I think Steve Yedlin's made a lot of research into film emulsion or a treatment of digital to make it look more like film, because there's a lot of elements involved with making film look more analog. And Steve Yedlin's done a lot of research. And I'm talking about like a studio level, at a really high-end professional studio level, not like, slap on a LUT kind of a thing. What I will say though is I'm not in love with shooting like film. I don't like 35 millimeter that much. Like if you tell me, hey John, do you have a choice? Shoot either digital 35 millimeter full frame or shoot a full frame with, well, even like Kodachrome, kind of like Ektachrome. What's the one? The Fujichrome. I shot some Fujichrome, which is nice. But I would still prefer to shoot digital 35 millimeter. But when it comes to larger formats, I've never shot medium format, but I've shot 4x5, and I love 4x5. Yeah, 4x5 is amazing. Yeah, Steve Yedlin. Steve Yedlin's the DP for Glass Onion. He works a lot with that director. What's his name? Can't remember his name off the top of my head. The one everyone hates because he ruined Star Wars. He shot that Rise of the Jedi movie. Whatever, doesn't matter. Who cares? Star Wars. Yeah, Steve Yedlin. Yeah, I think that's how you spell his name. Yedln. Count for Comment says that actor owned every role he played, especially in The Mummy and that short scene in The Last of Us. Oh yeah. I could not bother with the rest of the show. Somehow he almost always plays a bit. You're talking about the actor that says by Jupiter's cock? That dude? Yeah, he had that mummy character. Yeah, he's a fun. Ruin Johnson. Thank you. Ruin Johnson. Helium Road says, Ruin Johnson. Ruin my Johnson. Jar Jar. So let me know if you're interested in this gift. It's a great gift. I actually gave it a couple Christmases ago. I have a 3D printer, obviously, and I made these Jar Jar Binks statues. And I painted them, and I put them in a jar. And then I bought some clear plastic stickers that said Jar Jar in a jar. Yeah. And I gave that away. Made 2 of them, and I gave them away to people. So if you're interested in Jar Jar in a jar, write me. Just go ahead and send me an email. I want a Jar Jar in a jar. Send your $29.95 to John at filmmakeriq.com. And you too can be a proud owner of Jar Jar in a jar. This Turkey 101 should not be doing that to me. But it is. It is. John Hannah. Yeah, that's the dude. Yeah, John Hannah. I recognize that name, John Hannah. By Jupiter's cock, it's John Hannah. His movie Looper was good. Yeah, Looper was fun. Why? But why it's without the last name? Jar Jar Adams, Jar Jar Abrams. Oh, Jar Jar Abrams. Yep, Jar Jar Abrams. I'm going to basically ruin Star Wars in the laziest. Does anyone actually like the last, not the last Jedi, but the Return of the Sith? What the fuck the last one was called? Did anyone actually like that last movie? I mean, I'm one of the rare breed that liked the Last Jedi, but when it came down to the last movie, like, no, I was laughing. There was a point in the movie, spoiler, when Rey kisses Kylo Ren, and I started busting up because I thought that was so. I mean, I was like sitting there like waiting. Now kiss, and they kiss, and like, oh my god, this is the lamest movie ever. This is so terrible, 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 terrible. Like now, I got the chat going on a tear. So mentioning up the last movie. I think nobody liked it. We don't, not even in honor of Carrie Fisher. Yeah, it was. Rise of Skywalker was off. It was just so like Last Jedi. I felt like at least it was trying, but that last one was terrible. Yeah, like a lot of my friends hated the Last Jedi. I liked it because I liked the fact that it tried to do something different. But the Rise of Skywalker was like literally just damage control in it, and by that it's like a poison pill. Rise of the Last Star, I don't pay to watch it, and I love it for being so bad it ruined Star Wars forever. Very much. Someone text me or email me. Last Jedi is the best looking one. I agree with that. Yeah, screenwriting. Yeah, I agree. I mean, sure. And then Return of the Jedi Skywalker is utter trash. See, yeah, that's my opinion. That's like, yeah, okay, I get. Screenwriting's never been good in Star Wars movies. Let's be honest here. But I think Last Jedi at least tried to open the universe up, and the whole thing with like, hey Rey, you're not important, but you have a role to play in this universe. I thought, wow, that's a very interesting approach toward the universe of Star Wars. It's like, hey, you don't have to be a Skywalker in order to be an important part of the story. So I love that part of it. Like, it means anybody could be part of the story. And we can now explore the entire galaxy of Star Wars and it'd be interesting. And then Jar Jar comes back and Jar Jar Abrams comes and is like, nope, not going to happen. Anyhow. Let's Not Be Mad says, that was like a fresh air into a Star Wars, and it came to LucasArts and Mike Ryan's the ninth movie. That's, yeah, so, I don't know. My friends will say I'm an idiot for saying that. Like, my friends hated Last Jedi. And they all hate Last Jedi because like that's not what Luke Skywalker would have done. Luke Skywalker's not like a traitor like that. Luke Skywalker's like, yeah, but that's kind of, I think that's the cool part. Because, Luke Skywalker is going to like redeem. Like, of course, I want to see the hero has to falter, but then become stronger because that's the hero's journey. He thinks about killing Kylo Ren, but he doesn't do it. He doesn't do it. He has a moment of realization and he comes back. That's what I liked about it. Anyhow, getting tired. Anyhow. There are porn parodies of Star Wars that are 10 times better than any last 25 movies. Not untrue. Filmmakers look like they just gave up trying. Anybody complain about quality, but they're not the ones making the films to match the fan expectation. I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah, I feel like they did definitely give up. Wing It says, of the last three, I prefer Last Jedi. The Force Awakens was the worst because it had the most time and potential. That's kind of true. But I feel like Force Awakens feels like it had a lot going for it because it was a brand new story. It felt like it felt fresh until it wasn't. Like it wanted to go fresh, but like it was basically a retread of the first movie. But at least the strings were there. Original trilogy, Rogue One, are the only Star Wars movie that I like. You can keep the rest included. I didn't like Rogue One, so my friends like I had a long discussion one day. Well, I was like, I just did not like Rogue One. I did not like Rogue One at all because it's like I didn't like any of the characters. I thought the characters were all like just unlikable, and I was like, eh. But it's a war movie. I'm like, eh. Star Wars is not a war movie to me. It felt too serious, too like. Anyhow, why are we talking about Star Wars? Star Wars is like dead. They were so afraid of Rise going bad, they released 2 episodes of OS Mandalorian that week. One was just to show that there's a force power to cure people. Well, Mando wasn't out when Rise came out, right? Mando came out way after Rise. Or are we talking about something else? I think The Last Jedi is so bad it's good. The Force Awakens is a boring waste of time. I don't pay for it. I still want some of my back. Luke died like John Henry. John Henry. He's fighting that machine. I'm tired, man. And I had a little sip of that alcohol. So, lightweight John. Not so much lightweight in real life, but when it comes to 101, it's spot on, John. Damn tootin'. Problem with The Last Jedi is whatever attempts, the movie is still a mess, and it's just like a parody. Yeah, I mean, there's parts of it I didn't like. The casino crap was dumb. They should let a Tommy Wiseau direct a Star Wars reboot. Can't be any worse than what they got. They should let me direct a Star Wars reboot. Forget Tommy Wiseau. What has he ever done for the world? I taught people that depth of field was not set in stone. Therefore, I should be the next Star Wars director. Could you imagine if you had to be next Star Wars? I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I occasionally think about it. All right. Don't get me wrong, I guess. So, I occasionally wonder how would I deal with the pressure of making a movie like Star Wars? Like, how does J.J. Abrams, when The Force Awakens first came out, how did he comprehend the immense societal pressure to make a new Star Wars movie? Like, how would you even approach that? Now, I think the reality, though, is it's not on J.J. Abrams' hands. I think the reality is it's Kathleen Kennedy, it's the entire staff. He's getting notes every freaking hour from everybody telling them what they need to fix and change and do that. So it probably is a pain in the butt, especially if they put me in charge of Star Wars. They put me in charge of Star Wars. It doesn't mean that they really care about my work. What they mean is somebody to push over. They need a pushover to put John Hess, filmmaker IQ, at the helm of Star Wars, and that we know we can just railroad him with nonstop notes because he's a nice guy. And he'll listen. He'll be so appreciative of being paid millions of dollars that he will do whatever we ask of him to do. Make it a lesbian and black and make it lame. That's what they're going to tell me. Sorry, I just busted your ears. Make it lame. Force is female. Thank you. Finally, you realize the truth. The Force is female. There is no place for men in Star Wars. Screw that. The Force is female. And probably queer as well. Like Rich Evans says, there are only 2 good Star Wars movies, New Hope and Empire, and the rest are just sporadically interesting. Rich Evans also said that Star Wars is not any larger than basically the Skywalker family. And I that was in my head the whole time when I was watching Last Jedi, because I was thinking, well, then they're going to try to prove Rich Evans wrong, which is usually a good thing. Rich Evans is a very astute observer of cinema history. Like, you need to listen to Rich Evans. Epic rap battles of history. John versus Tommy Wiseau. I will put my money down for describing pure cinematic arts compared to, I don't know, pick your Nerd Writer. I will. That's what I should do. Next April is the film nerd, and just do an essay on the greatest scene in Showgirls that I just did. And just break that scene down. How blocking has made Showgirls the most amazing. Alrighty, all right. Count for Comment blames on Eisner and Katzenberg. They're the ones that making Disney friendly brand, controlling the tones of all its contents. God, they got to blame Eisner for making all that money for people and Disney and creating half of my childhood memories. God damn it, Eisner, why did you make Aladdin, the movie I have like memorized, like encoded in my DNA somewhere, the lyrics of, the original Alibaba song, not the Alibaba, I can't remember the lyrics because it's been so long, but damn it, Eisner, why would you make Beauty and the Beast the first amazing movie to be nominated for an Oscar for Best Picture or animated movie? Oh, Rian Johnson watches our LRM? Oh, that's funny. He must have like, okay. I'll let it go. Well, to be honest though, Return of the Jedi as a kid was my favorite of the three. Because it had the happy ending. And it had a happy beginning, which also led to some happy endings. If you get my drift. Wink. Leia. All right. John is going to be in trouble. John is riding the line with his career. He's like literally taking his career and he's like basically betting it on black that no one watches this and then like basically cancels him in the next couple of days. John is gone. John is done. John will be in the dustbin of history, forgotten because he did not watch enough Asian cinema. He cannot speak. I'm so tired. All right. Someone tweeted Rian Johnson asking if he likes Ellen. He said, "I love them, but I fear them." That's great. This is almost so. I think what's interesting about this stream, I think, more than any streams that I watch, because I watch people that are popular. You guys are watching me. I don't know why you guys are. You're watching me because you guys are the show. I think I just realized that because I read your comments. Like I read all your sometimes my favorite parts of watching streams is watching the person react to comments because the comments are oftentimes a part of the fun. So I think this is why you guys are actually watching this loser right here, embracing the crappy YouTube stream here. I'm spending a lot of money on this studio space. I keep housing all my equipment, but also as a complete and utter mess. But hey, you guys can chat with me, and I can read your comments, and you can get a comment read, and then streamed out to the other 23 people watching. Eventually, it gets out there. Eventually we get 1,500 views per episodes. But hey, you guys get to be live. Time to get a VTuber persona. What's up, guys? John Hess here. Filmmaker IQ. John knows video. That's Jared Poland. Sorry, Jared Poland. I don't mean any disrespect. I like Jared Poland, actually. I've met him in person. I think I talked to him a little bit, but he didn't know who I was. I knew who Jared Poland was. I didn't know who. It's FroKnowsPhoto.com. But he doesn't know who I am. No one knows who I am. I am a speck of dust. So, I mean, I guess I'm late. I used to think that Filmmaker IQ was popular. Well, it was for a while. Like, I remember when I went to Not Scary Farm one year. This is pre-pandemic. This is way back when. And somebody actually recognized me IRL. I know, right? Somebody actually said, "Hey, that's John Hess from Filmmaker IQ. Let's make something great." I'm like, "Oh my God, someone recognized me. Yay." And I felt like I was on top of the world. It was awesome. And now I feel like nobody knows who I am. It doesn't, like I go on Reddit and occasionally I will go on like, "Hey, what YouTubers do you recommend watching to learn about filmmaking?" I'm never mentioned. Never. Once in a blue moon they'll mention me. And you know what? I deserve it because I haven't been putting out a whole lot of stuff. I haven't dedicated that much time because I've been trying to make money. I've been trying to do stuff. Well, the thing is, 412,000 subscribers, but all those, I've been around for like 12 years. So I'm sure like 100,000, 300,000 subscribers are probably like way back in the day, and they probably all like empty accounts or something that they're dissolved accounts, or I don't know. So yeah, there's only 21. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be a pity party. I'm just saying what it is. I'm just telling you guys what it is, or how I see it. I don't consider myself famous anymore, or even I once was YouTube famous. I'm not even close to YouTube famous anymore. And I always feel okay. So have I told you guys this? There is one weird stalker. I think I told this on the last stream. that keeps mentioning filmmaker IQ in all her videos. And I don't know if you guys know. Oh, I don't feel too sad. I just realized that my time has come and gone. You know, there's also, so what hit me a little bit hard was in the movie Oppenheimer at the very end. Spoiler, sorry, it's not a big spoiler. I'm jumping around different topics. Anyhow, in Oppenheimer at the very end of the movie, Albert Einstein warns Oppenheimer. He's like, as you're getting older, they're going to give you awards. Just remember, the awards are not for you; they're for themselves. And it's like, well, I could be heralded as a great media YouTuber in preference, but what would that get me? I'd be invited for stuff, but it wouldn't be for me. Whatever. Be happy people know. I'm not saying I'm like completely unhappy. Be happy people don't know you. Just look at what popular these days. Yeah, and famed. I mean, I do have Sniper Wolf like outside the door right now. She is. I did lock the door, so that's why she's not coming in here. But she is out there, right? She is out there. Yeah, what fames is limited brains and self-esteem. Who's Sniper Wolf? You don't know who Sniper Wolf is? Oh my God. She's got like 26 million subscribers. Like, she's one of the biggest YouTubers ever. And she got in a big deal with Jack's Films because he called her out for basically taking people's videos and just like talking over them and making a ton of money on it. Anyhow. Helium Road says, embrace being canceled. Once it's happened, you have nothing left to lose. Yeah, the thing about being canceled, especially if you're canceled for no reason. Like if you're canceled for some dumb reason, usually what happens, at least in the modern society, people that are canceled for dumb reasons end up becoming more popular. It's kind of the weird thing in reverse, because it becomes obvious that the people that doing the canceling are sort of like have an axe to grind. And usually that generates support for people like that. Oh, nerds like you have no idea. So the reason why Sniper Wolf became popular was because there was a big drama about it. So what happens is she showed up at Jack's Films when Jack Film was doing a stream like I'm doing right now, and she showed up to his house, and people on his stream, because he has like thousands of viewers, like, hey, Sniper Wolf is outside your house, and she has a photo of your house. She basically doxed him and all that shit. So yeah, it caused everybody to get all pissy and upset. Like, YouTube, do something about this. I don't even know what happened to it. I really don't even know what happened to it. Yeah, Media Division. Media Division does a lot of stuff too. The only two recall were explaining how anamorphics work. Most other AV channels are more or less influence style going, yeah. Oh, and I keep thinking I want to do not TikTok, but YouTube shorts, but like I can't bring myself to do it. I just can't bring myself to do it at all. So, yeah. But, I do want to, I really would like to get back to shooting something that's more narrative and fun for myself. I'm getting money so I can, I can produce small stuff. So we're toying with the idea of maybe producing. So we have this channel called, what's the name of the channel? Damn it. So we're going to start adding stuff to this eventually when I ever get my act together. Bob Lasky's Social Club. Bob Lasky is a character that I've created. My friend and I, Joe, created. Bob Lasky is like the ultimate person. He's the ultimate man's man. He's awesome. Bob Lasky is the GOAT. And by GOAT, I mean greatest of all time. The greatest of all time is Bob Lasky. So Bob Lasky started the Social Club in the like late 50s. And basically it's all the best refined gentlemen, the best you've ever heard. They always say it's excellent. I'm the best. It's amazing, right? And Bob Lasky's Social Club is going to be a channel in which I just put random videos on, extremely random videos. If I ever get around to making them. If I ever get around to making them. Oh, and I do not like Mr. Beast's haircut, by the way. Mr. Beast has a terrible haircut. You can tell him that for yourself. The next time you see Mr. Beast, say, that filmmaker IQ guy, he thinks you have an ugly haircut. And Mr. Beast will be like, who's filmmaker IQ? And you're like, that's that one bald nerd that's sitting there that never watches them Chinese streams. Those Chinese movies. And Mr. Beast is like, well, I'll have to think about that when I'm sleeping on my piles of cash that I'm giving away to 100 needy individuals here in Africa. And I'll be like, yes. That doesn't make any sense. We are beyond sense at this point. Why are you guys watching this shit? Don't you have something better to do? You're going to have me yelling at this. Why are you guys watching me? This is awful. This is awful waste of your time, people. Dex is right. This is a long stream, Johnny. I like it. This is a terrible stream. Why are you watching this shit? This is awful. Watch some good movies. Why are you watching this guy slowly self-deconstruct and self-destruct here? This is terrible. Just kidding. You know it's the best. Best there ever was. The greatest of all time. Filmmaker IQ. Fro knows photo. John knows video. Fro knows photo's a good guy. Jerry Poland's a decent guy. He always wears like muscle shirts. Like I can never pull that off because it's usually flabby shirts. Like Jerry Poland's in good shape. I'm not. I'm in sad shape. I follow mostly show like Rick Beato and randos. Do you ever watch what's that one guy? Adam Neely. I like Adam Neely, but sometimes, man, oh man, sometimes Adam Neely needs to lay off the music theory. Just back off that music theory a little bit. He's just, he can be a little insufferable at times, but he's really good. He's really good. He's like me with copyright, right? He knows his shit. Like Adam Neely knows really. I actually like Adam Neely's copyright videos too. He does a really good stuff on like when Katy Perry, my favorite girl of all time, my favorite singer of all time. Nah, that's not true. When I was young, a friend of mine started a rumor that Katy Perry went to our school for a year, which is not true. She's from Orange County, not from Riverside County. So, anyhow, yeah, Adam Neely is a good watch. I usually like do I want to watch an Adam Neely video? Do I really want to just get involved with an Adam video? Because it's going to be so much music theory, and I'm going to be like C major dominant ninth chord that resolves to a C sharp minor. Then I watch it and I'm like, oh, that was very entertaining. Thank you, Adam Neely. That was really, really well done. Dan Morell, another good one. Yeah, I watch him occasionally. I don't watch a lot of reviewers anymore. I stopped watching reviewers for a while. Like the only reviewer I kind of like to watch is, well, it depends. I like Kermode and Mayo a lot. Kermode's take. I usually enjoy hearing his, because he has quite a bit. He has a considerably different political stance than I do, but we have a very similar taste in movies. So I love that. I love seeing his opinion on stuff. You know, like I'll watch Critical Drinker stuff, but he's closer to my opinion politically, so it's a little more boring. I can kind of predict what he's going to say. I like hearing Kermode's take because it's different. I like that. So bass. Yeah, Adam Neely when it comes to mostly music theory. Plus, I also play bass. I got interested in the channel a while back. Well, you know, he can get a little too. Also, I really don't like his odd meter stuff. Like, okay, 7/13. I don't care about how to count 7/13. I just don't care. Or how to count, 9.5/16 tuplets in a duple form. I was like, I don't care. I don't care. I just don't care. 4/4, 3/4, 5/4, 7/8. Okay. But I don't care about 17, 60, 30-second notes. I don't care. Chris Stuckman sucks. I hate to say bad things about people. I don't want to. He seems like a sweet and genuine guy, but it feels like some of his movie reviews just feel like he's going through the motions. Like he's not really giving you an opinion. Like he just saw the movie, like, yeah, that was all right. I bet you if I sat down with Chris Stuckman, I'd have a nice conversation. And we'd end up leaving probably friends, and I'd probably get along splendidly with him. It's just I feel like the YouTube machine churns and churns and churns out that stuff. Anyhow, yeah, Kermode is great. I like Kermode. But, I mean, the cool thing about Kermode is, like, he's not being paid by YouTube. He's being paid by the BBC. Right? Is he on BBC? think he's BBC, right? BBC Radio 2 or whatever. I love Odd Meter, just the music dork stuff. It just, I mean, yeah, Odd Meter is fine, but not 17 30-second notes. Like, I don't care. Okay, sorry, helium. All right, what are we doing? I am tone deaf, so I watch Neely just for the odd controversy. He may be able to explain the POV. Check out his copyright stuff. Like when the cases were like, so the most important one is the Katy Perry one, because they sued Katy Perry over the fact that it was the same kind of drum beat or close the same drum. No, I don't forget what it was. Watch it. Don't let me try to explain it to you. But the great thing about that was that case got overturned. And that was a great, great blow for freedom of speech. Like, I love copyright. Don't get me wrong. I'm a strong copyright proponent. But I also believe I love freedom of speech more. So, and I will I'll attempt to balance freedom of speech against copyright overreach all the time. And I think that was definitely a case of copyright way overreach. Like, come on, the songs. I hate the thing about copyright overreach because it's so insidiously easy to pull off. Like, what happens? I saw, and I had this issue because, all right, story time, as if we weren't talking about stories before. This movie came out with Alison Brie called Horse Girl, and somebody else said, "Hey, this movie copied my movie beat for beat." And everyone's like, "Oh my God, you're right. How dare Netflix copy your movie beat for beat?" And every time I see that, I always say, hold up, let's examine the details, because the devil's always in the details, right? Devil's always in the details. So here's the story beat for beat. A girl loses her family. And in Horse Girl, she loses her mom. In his movie, she loses like her entire family. Okay, that's the same thing. Wait, okay. And then it's like, okay, then she goes in this journey. She talks with her friend. In my movie, she talks with her friend. Oh dear God. How did they must have saw your movie. That this lonely girl goes and talks to her friend. Oh dear God. They must have stolen that idea from you. And then she like takes some drugs and she has a weird out-of-body experience. Oh my God, really? I've never heard of such an original idea of a girl who loses her family, talks to her friend, and then takes psychedelics to have an out-of-body experience. So anyhow, stuff like that. And it's like, people get emotional because, I spend too much time on Reddit. That's just the fact. I spend too much time reading naive people who basically can have their emotions manipulated. I can just present to you, oh, this idea is exactly the same as this idea. And then I just leave out the details that are different. And I just show you, well, it's essentially the same idea. It's essentially the same idea. It's essentially the same idea. Look exactly alike. Like, no, they're not the same idea. They're the same themes and the same emotions. Like, yeah, like do I have a copyright every Boy Meets Girl movie? No, of course not. Of course not. I really like, so you're asking me, are they feminist film critics? I like watching many for a different POV than my own, but almost a complete waste of time. Used to open my eyes when reading feminist critics, though not much now. I like reading women critics. I don't like reading feminist critics because I think feminist film theory is, can we say, bullshit? I got crapped on for, that's my whole thing with kind of like the beef I had a little bit with No Film School, because their editor was like a feminist. She did not like the whole martini bikini thing because thought that was very, 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 very sexist of me. Like, okay, whatever. But no, I think feminist film theory is questionable. Well, all film theory is very questionable. It's we talk about. So I was watching. I don't usually watch Bill Maher, but I watched his last. So actually, I saw an interview between Bill Maher and Quentin Tarantino on Twitter, and Tarantino was like, "Oh my God, films these days are either ideology or they're superhero movies, and there's nothing else." And I wanted to see that full interview, so I ended up watching the last one because I was like, huh, Bill Maher had like Ted Cruz and he had Jordan Peterson on. It's like, what is Bill Maher just had a right winger show. So yeah, Jack Ripper. So anyhow, what was my point with that? Other than like I don't know so basically they were talking about how the Marxists take over the university because everything's like Marxist now. Well, all film theory is Marxist based. And there's nothing wrong with Marxist theory and I teach it in the class. I talk about Marxist dialectic as a point of way to approach like storytelling. Because the idea is that Marxist dialectic, which is again not necessarily Marxist necessarily, you can go back to, was it Hellenistic or something like that, going back to the Greeks. The idea that you have like opposite forces. So you have, a thesis and an antithesis. They come together, they create conflict, and it produces a synthesis. And the synthesis itself meets up with another thesis, and it creates another conflict. So you get this perpetual conflict to propel a story forward. And I think that's an entirely valid way to approach story. And in fact, it may actually explain some of the societal issues going on right now, because that story of conflict. Right? Conflict is such a powerful part of story that we inherently engage and wrap on and cling on to power narratives because that's so compelling. And that's, and so, and part of maybe the problem with society is we don't know how to separate ourselves from that desire to just see everything as sort of this dialectic with forces fighting, because that's the essence of story. I have to go back and explain to people, like, no, write-offs are not the corporations trying to screw the government. That, hey, write-offs are actually a way to encourage investments and stuff. No, that's a non-conflict theory. Like, you prefer the conflict theory. This is deep shit, people. Never mind. All right, so anyhow, what was I getting on? Oh, yeah. So all this theory stuff is all entwined with, like, Marxist dialectic stuff, and film theory essentially started developing, and then it just shot off into fucking nowhere land where it's just, you guys are just full of shit. And I remember in English class in my college, University of Riverside, that's where I'm alma mater, UC Riverside, I literally took an ad, because I've always been like a maverick, a jokester, in a way to like just fuck with people. And the assignment was to do some media analysis. I literally took an ad for an insurance company, and I basically made a bunch of bullshit up about how this was really representing a Christ figure. Sort of the way I made a bunch of bullshit about Showgirls, only I did it in a much more flowery sense. You can make this bullshit up and then call it theory. And then basically, like male gaze. Like, male gaze is the most bullshit fucking like idea in feminist film theory. Like, what's male gaze? Women can have male gaze. What the fuck does that mean? Like, how, like, male gaze in a visual medium. What makes it male? Anyhow. And I'm sure someone in the comments, probably 3 days from now, like, I can't believe you were so reductive of feminist theory. You have no understanding of feminist theory whatsoever. You are full of shit, and you should not exist, and you should just go off and kill yourself. And you're not wrong. I probably don't understand your bullshit. But that's what basically... So I made that video about auteur theory, because I was fascinated by auteur theory. Because I thought maybe... if I studied auteur theory, if I studied film theory, because it sounds like, oh, study film theory, and then you can apply film theory to film production, and you will make better films. No. If you want to learn to make films, you don't study film theory. Like, avoid film theory at all costs. Because film theory will just muck your head up with things that make no sense, and then you'll get this all inflated sense, like what, and it doesn't help you at all. Like, at all. It's not, and like, music theory is actually legitimate because they can kind of prove it. Film theory has absolutely no proof. Film theory is is just nonsense. It's a bunch of, it literally is people going this and then this and then, oh yeah, film theory, film theory. Do not crop that shot. Do not crop that clip, and do not add AI to that. I did this. I did it as a visual demonstration of what film theory is, not for your. Go ahead. No, I don't care. I'm not famous. You're not going to crop it. Watch in like it's like that Lindsay Ellis video. We talked about Lindsay Ellis earlier. Somebody was talking. Is that Lindsay Ellis where she's getting hit with the hot dogs? Yeah, it's going to be taken out of context. Whatever. Jacker, new meme activated. Oh, film theory all over me. Film theory. Oh. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I'm sorry, people. I would like to issue this apology for anyone that I might have offended during the stream. I'm truly sorry for my actions. I will attempt to be a better person and be more respectful of film theory and feminist film theory and queer theory and all that other theory nonsense that has nothing to do with anything, but the people like to, masturbate over. I apologize. You shouldn't feel bad about masturbating over theory. I'm sincerely sorry, and I will do better. It may take me time. I need to go into some self-reflection and really think about what I really believe, and I hope sincerely that you will not think less of me. All right, fuck that shit. I'm sorry. It's like that's what I've told this before. Like I had that thing with Nerdwriter over that Hitchcock bullshit they pulled that shit on. It's so divorced from reality because they've never made a film. They've literally wanted to be involved with film, but they realized they could just write a bunch of essays and bullshit and then have lord power over people that make films. And that's what film theory is. I agree with your analysis. It's not, yeah, I mean, that's the analysis of being around for 40 years. It's analysis of like seeing, like I've tried to understand auteur theory. I literally tried to, and then I realized, oh, this is a bunch of bullshit. I mean, it's not, it's somewhat useful for talking about, but don't take it too seriously. Anyhow, your comments. There was a website out there that auto-generates a postmodern thesis paper that sounds as legit as half of the stuff that gets published. You hit F5 and it writes the whole paper. Yeah, that, what's that, those three guys, what's his name? New Discourses guy, and they made a bunch of postmodern papers, and they got it all as a prank, and they got, given away. Quoting from Harry Potter, respect is earned, not given. Some fields of study have truly never earned it. I mean, look, I don't know. There is obviously some value to like discussing film and thinking about film and approaching it, And I think Kermode writes about this too. The best kind of film analysis is not to tell you necessarily like whether you should go see a movie. I mean, partly film reviews are a sense of way to telling people, hey, this is a good movie, this is not a good movie, avoid this movie, go to see this movie. A part of the film reviewing culture is to kind of talk about movies. It's sort of a journalistic approach. Like, I'm telling you my experience of this movie. Your experience may be completely different. I saw this movie when I was 17 years old, and that's why I love it. I was in love with a blonde girl, and the lead player is a blonde, and she kind of looks like the blonde. So I fell in love with the girl. Like the movie, I love the movie Punch Drunk Love. Paul T. Anderson, Punch Drunk Love. I love that movie because that movie instills in my, like, it just tugs that romantic heartstring. And Emily Mortimer is not the prettiest girl in the world, but she's just like homely looking. You kind of want to just embrace her and kiss her, like in that movie Match Point, a Woody Allen movie. And Emily Mortimer plays the girl that this tennis instructor is kind of like, he's supposed to be in love with her, but like Scarlett Johansson shows up and she's like, fuck me, and I'm your boss's fiance. And I'm kind of like, I would just pick Emily Mortimer because I mean, Scarlett Johansson, that's trouble. And Emily Mortimer, she's coming from a rich family. She's kind of cute, and she seems like just a sweetheart. And you could just have fun with her. It could just be a nice life with her. You could learn. You could just love her. And Scarlett Johansson's hot. She's the hottest she's ever been in that movie, Match Point. But you know it's going to end up badly, right? That's Match Point. Yeah. So anyhow. Punch Drunk Love is one of my absolute favorite, like, romantic movies. I should probably watch that. I'm going to watch it tonight. Damn it, I'm going to watch it tonight. But that's my experience, right? That's what tickles my little heartstrings, right? So that kind of film analysis, that kind of film discussion, I think is valuable, and it's great to communicate that with other people. It's a way to communicate, to come together and talk about art and discuss it and enjoy it. Like, that's wonderful. I love that stuff. Film theory where they like break down the oppressive powers of patriarchy in the movies. Even Barbie movie said patriarchy is just something people make up to deal with life. It's not fucking real. Marxism is, cultural Marxism and that kind of shit. It's just stuff that people make up. Anyhow. I mean, not film study, but the fact that feminist is a legitimate degree in many colleges. Yeah, underwater basket weaving. There's a lot of weird shit. Anyhow, the paraphrase from Clausewitz: competence is known when theory met practice. Theories are for guiding beginners since they don't have experience. Good point. Good. I love this. Without film theories, the filmmakers would be more lost. Not the kind of film theory I'm talking about. I don't think that kind of film theory does not help at all. Like, I like maybe like hero's journey, conflict approaches, film analysis from the perspective of like, okay, this is why this drama works here. We're bringing in this thing here. Maybe I'm not going to show you this. Those are technique analysis. I think those are valuable. Like, even when I did that thing on Coco, I should do more of those, but time and I got stuff to do, right? Like that kind of stuff I love, right? And I wish I could do more of it but they take a lot of time, especially when we do a feature-length movie. And, well, to be honest, I don't see much of that analysis that I like out there. I see a bunch of kind of straight. I'm just making sure that my client's not complaining about something. Let's see. Nope, not my client. Yeah, good. Okay, thank God. I say, don't tell me I spelled someone's name wrong. I gotta re-render. Yeah, for film critics, academic theories overshadow the practice. Yeah, technique practice analysis. Yeah, but they take, I agree. Every frame of painting was great. Every frame of painting was great because he did a lot of analysis, and it was very, very good. And I would sometimes sit down with it. I watched that with a little bit of jealousy because his analysis was so good, and he was able to pull such great footage. But I think what happens, and I think he's too honest. Like, I think her name is Kevin Long, I think his name. He's too honest. He's too good of an analyzer of films to be on YouTube, because what happened was, I think the man he got so famous for every frame of painting that he felt like he was forced to keep delivering those astoundingly brilliant analysis. And the fact is, you can't always do that. And there's only so much profound stuff you can do. I mean, I'm feeling that way with Filmmaker IQ. Like, I've explained dynamic range. How else do I need to explain this? How many more videos do I need to churn up about dynamic range so they'll even come close to that epiphany moment of realizing, oh, that's how dynamic range works. There's nothing left. I've hit the. I'm not saying there's nothing left to talk about filmmaking, because, good God, we've been on this stream for what, like 2.5 hours. We will not stop. Your people are like, why isn't he stopping? You're watching a man drown in just talking about this shit. But no, the But I can't keep making movie videos about dynamic range because what else are we going to talk about dynamic range? You've understood the concept now. I can talk endlessly about movies. I can talk endlessly. I am talking endlessly about like movies I love and or approaches to movies and stuff. I can't talk endlessly about technical shit. There's only so much. There's only so much. Once you know enough technical shit, it's just okay. I mean, okay, maybe I can't do it. Maybe other people can. Maybe Steve Yedlin can do it. I'll bet you Steve Yedlin will get tired of it. He'll want to talk about the art side of things. Anyhow. This is your favorite Jack? Oh, that's good. Good. This is why I don't want to leave right now because I'm feeling honesty. I'm feeling speaking honestly right now. I'm feeling I'm letting out a lot, letting out the emotion. Ooh. There you go. Every Frame Paint was a collaborative effort between Tony Zhao and Taylor Ramos. They did a movie on the film now on Netflix and Fincher, with Fincher, but I haven't watched it yet. That's cool. Yeah, well, if it was a film, it was a great collaboration. So the reason, what I'm saying about how I feel like they overstepped it was when he did that thing about Marvel music, because that was a terrible video. Like that was terrible analysis, just flat out terrible analysis. I'm going to be blunt in that. Like the booze, that one sip of booze I had. Pedro says the booze is the feeling hitting you. So he made a video talking about how like modern Marvel music doesn't have any themes, and like you couldn't hum a theme, but you can hum every theme from like Indiana Jones, dum ba dum bum bum ba dum, Jaws, da 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 da, right? You could hum all these other things, but Marvel music you couldn't hum at all, except for the fact that it's demonstrably wrong. Dun 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 dun. There's the Avengers theme is a hummable theme. I can't honestly. I can hear the rhythm. Dun, 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 I can't hum it off. But I would recognize it off. If you played for me the Avengers Assemble theme, instantly recognizable. Instantly recognize it. Instantly. Play maybe Spider-Man theme. Instantly recognize it. So there's still a lot. The bad analysis comes from cherry picking, and that's the most dangerous thing. And I'll sometimes call you guys out for when you guys cherry pick, like cherry picking, like, oh John, aren't you just sick of all these superhero movies? Because you cherry picked, you're cherry picking all Hollywood's superhero movies. You're just cherry picking that. Well, go watch a movie that's not Hollywood, not superhero movie. Just watch something else. That's the most dangerous thing about analysis is when you cherry pick something and then you try to apply that to the whole. So I think that video, and I was under the spell of that video for a while until I saw the counterpoint. That was like the last video that Every Frame Painting did was that Marvel music video, and then someone came on who's a composer for. Hollywood composer, not big time, but like, working composer, said, hey, wait a second. There's a lot of themes that people are kind of getting to know. It's, Marvel at that time, this is before even Avengers, this is like after Avengers 1 came out, but not before Endgame. This is way back when. He said, it's just newer. That's why people don't recognize it right off the top of their head. It's just newer. But if I played for you the Avengers theme, yeah, you would, and I read through the comments, yeah, I recognize it immediately. But the thing is, so in order to try to create Every Frame Painting, in order to try to create a video that was so insightful as all of them had been previously, or at least that's my opinion, that all of them were brilliantly made before. To keep that pace, they made a terrible analysis by cherry picking and picking out like, oh, you can't recognize any of these Marvel themes. Like I can't hum it right now, but if you played for it, I would immediately recognize it. Immediately. So that's what I think. And at that point, after that, he kind of like vaporized. He kind of like, well, I'm going to work on other stuff. And what Avengers? Do you want me to get demonetized and play a little bit of the Avengers theme? I don't know. Let's see. Oh wait. My keyboard's back and working again. Let's see. Avengers theme, right? Let's see. I'll give you 5 seconds and I'll be able to hum it. Dun, 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 that thing. See, where's the where is it? Maybe it's Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme. Let's see. Portals. Let's maybe this one here. Let's see. Jump ahead. No, that's not it. Give me the Avengers theme. No, now my keyboard's not working. But you know that little progression. Dun da 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 dum da 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 dum da da dum ba da da. Here it is. Okay, here it is. Da 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 ba da da. Dum bum ba bum bum. Bum bum ba bum ba dum bum. That thing. Yeah, look it up yourself. Don't make me get the stream. Okay, the stream kind of demonetized. All right. Let's go to your comments. Oh yeah, Tony and Taylor also did some work for the Criterion Channel. Yeah, they did. Because it was like so good. Like I can never be that good in my analysis. My analysis is gonna be like nitty gritty and only interesting to people that are interested in filmmaking. Like Tony Zhao's analysis that every frame painting was interesting to people who are not interested in movies. See you later, Helium. Have a good day. Have a good night. Play the Latin version. Yeah, there you go. Anyhow. One thing I know is people will pay more attention if they says Hans Zimmer is doing the music. Yeah. And you know, like I always get annoyed with people that are like anti Hans Zimmer because Hans Zimmer, I think, is really, really cool. People don't realize how like Hans Zimmer is a huge advocate of being a mentor. Like he mentors a lot of people, and he got his start, you know, back in the early electronic music. So I think Hans Zimmer is more than just the guy that goes, yeah, just like puts razor blades on cello strings. Yeah, those early EFAP, every frame of painting, EFAP. That's a new like live stream kind of term. EFAP were masterpieces. In their articles, they talked about how they eventually broke even. They said they had 9-minute Jackie Chan video was 216 hours of work. Face red, droopy, eyes. Yeah. Unfortunately, my vMix is not like does not like emojis, so I get those weird things. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you only remember the main Avengers theme. That's okay. That's the point, though. Like, because that one that's probably the best theme that they have, and you know the other ones are not as memorable. But like you know, do you remember the Penguins theme in the Batman, the Tim Burton for Batman's? Like, no, you don't. So don't be careful because documentaries are so persuasive, right? I can persuade you into thinking whatever I want by just manipulating your emotions with a documentary. It's propaganda. It's just same tools that propagandists use to, triumph of the will, to tell you, oh, come join the great Nazi party, right? It's the same, I can use it to promote Nazi party, or I can use it to promote my agenda for whatever it is I'm trying to promote to you, right? So that's what that's why I don't know why we're talking about this, but that's how I feel about some of these, theory videos. Anyhow, like I would love to maybe sit down. I thought about trying to do the like review your guys' work, but those just get so few views. There's and I put a lot of effort into them, but they're not really worth. They don't break even like the other comment was saying. It's the article that they wrote called Postmortem Everything. It's enjoyed reading it despite it being a little disheartening in some ways. True. I think it's more about the reality of what it means to do YouTube and to put out stuff. Like, that's kind of why I haven't been putting out a lot of content. I've been doing just live streams. Live streams, this is therapeutic for me, guys. You're watching this terrible live stream, all 20 of you. It's therapy for me. but I can do this easily, and I can get out my emotions. I can speak and then get canceled and lose my career. But hey, I had fun. But like the amount of effort, even it takes just to make a single video of any kind of decent caliber quality takes so much effort. And the return on it on YouTube is so terrible that you just have to do it out of love of doing it. And I love it, but I don't have the time to do it. You know, I can't say, hey, I'm going to carve out this week to just work on that when I got people are paying me $120 an hour to work on something else. And I can just rake up the cash doing something else. Anyhow, I love his video on Buster. His video on Buster Keaton was a masterpiece, like others have said. Absolute masterpiece. Absolute masterpiece. Yeah, anyhow. Enough talking about every frame. Tony Sao. Hans Zimmer is the GOAT. He is from my town. Oh, cool. Oh, from Germany. .de. Very good. Am I aware of the Atun Shi films on YouTube? I have no idea what that is. I have no idea what Atun Shi? You guys assume I'm smart. I'm not that smart, people. I just use big words. History inaccuracy in movies. Oh, okay. My friend was talking about how they're going off about Napoleon. A filmmaker with interest in history dresses up and does silly voices in order to educate and entertain you. Cool. I'm not familiar with them at all. Check them out. Plotbot says, and here are the Omega Point folks being Mortys. Yep. When he says, don't be stupid, be a smarty. Come and join the Nazi party. Come and join the Democrat party. I apologize sincerely for any Democrats I might have offended with that comment. I did not mean to equate the Democratic Party with the Nazis, although the Democratic Party has been trying to equate the Republican Party with Nazis for more than 20 years. But it's not fair. It's different with a capital D. That D stands for Democrat. It's not the same. Not the same. Nazi party. Nazi. I did not see that coming. Alrighty. I don't know what you guys are laughing at because there's probably a delay on the stream and you guys are probably laughing at something else I said. Alright, whatever. I like the Democrats when they're nice to me. I don't like Democrats when they're mean and nasty to me. And believe me, they've been some people have been very nasty to me. Very, very nasty. Very nasty. I mean, I'll tell you. So COVID messed with people's heads, man. Nope, it's a Democrat. COVID messed with people's heads so bad. I genuinely think. I mean, I'm not like telling lies here or stories here. That people will evaluate COVID for hundreds of years. And I think in 200, 500 years' time, we'll look back at the time as like, those guys were nuts. And I don't mean that COVID was bad. COVID was real. But the way we responded to it was absolute. And then what it did to people. So I think I must have said this before, but I used to play tennis with these guys. And one of them guys was a staunch Democrat. And the other guy was a pretty staunch Republican. It's a Mexican. He loves Trump. A Mexican who loves Trump. He's like, yeah, build the wall. But that's the reality. So we hadn't played, and they're older people. We hadn't played in like 12 months tennis because, lockdowns. And they came back and it became like a political fight immediately. And it didn't have to be. I apologize to people that do enjoy political fights I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. It can be, no, never mind. So, it became a political fight right away. And it was so dumb because it was obvious that I'm sorry to say, the Democrat didn't know his own side's opinions on things. Like I had to, I won't legislate it now, other than to say that he was not aware of the position on vaccines of which his vice president held during the election, of course, which was immediately reversed 180 degrees. Not even aware of that. But he was one of these people that I know, retired, spent all day on Facebook yelling at people on Facebook. And it showed me that I'm going into a Christopher Walken voice. It showed me that, man, we can get really fucked up. Like, we get really fucked up. Look, here's the deal. We're seeing, I don't want to drag modern crap into it. But we're not much different than we were in the medieval times. We pretend we progressed from the earlier times, and I don't know if we did. I don't think we have. I feel like we just pretend to be better people, and we're the same barbarians during the Romans. We just pretend. That's not fair. We had the Geneva Convention. We tried to become better people, but social media has kind of rotted our brains. And then the COVID happened, and people just maxed out on social media. And hell, at least I'm here talking to a screen with some words coming that are not of my brain. And I take the attitude. I've in the past been a little hot-headed. I admit I've kind of called people out on shit, and I admit that. But tonight I'm not. I'm a little more open to discussion and talk with people. Anyhow, and I thought, Jack Ripper says, I'm a Canadian and your politics really rubbed off on us. Thank you for that. It was a nightmare. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, having Trudeau for a prime minister is not looking good, I think. I'm sure you don't really like Trudeau. No one does. He only got 30% of the vote. Anyhow, just went the ruling class once. Did we learn anything from Flash Gordon? I did not learn anything from Flash Gordon because I haven't seen Flash Gordon. I need to watch Flash Gordon. Flash. Gonna keep those people separated by keeping them tearing each other apart. Remember that Star Trek episode where that one race is like, I don't trust that guy because he has the black side on his right side of his face and his left side is white. And I don't trust it because his left side is black and his right side is white. Oh my God. If we didn't have skin color to separate us, if we didn't have religion to separate us, we'd figure out something to separate us. It's just a matter of time. He prefers, I can't think of the words. My brain is so getting fried. He prefers this one football club. Oh, he prefers that football club. Hampshire United. I don't know. What's the famous one? Mansfield? I don't know. Fuck it. Doesn't matter. Joke's gone. Guys, sad. Let this be the last battlefield. Awesome. There is no last battlefield. It's always another battlefield. We must not have a mineshaft gap, people. And then we'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but we'll meet again. I love that movie. Doctor Strangelove was a movie that so here's my story about. I saw that movie because I as a kid growing up, I liked movies, but I always saw the Kong riding the bomb. And I was a major. So Simpsons is literally my entryway into movies. A lot of ways. Simpsons kind of showed me, Homer dropping the bomb. You're like, what is that imagery? And then you kind of go into it more. But yeah, Simpsons. But anyhow, I loved that movie. I watched the movie on my own, and I was like, man, this is really fucking good. And it's a very edgelord movie for teenagers. We absolutely fucking love that movie, right? It's very edgy. The irony is the sarcasm and irony are just on the teenager spectrum. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's so easy for a teenager to grasp that kind of parody and irony and sarcasm, right? So I was in AP US History, and they said, we did the test, and we're like, okay, what are you gonna do? Well, that's about a movie. Anybody recommend some historic movies? I'm like, I recommend Dr. Strangelove. And so I think I converted a lot of people to Dr. Strangelove. Jack Ripper, I can't imagine that would be your favorite movie. I really don't. I don't see it. I don't see how you would like that movie, Jack D. Ripper. I don't get it. Anyhow. Oh, break the egg on the pointy side or the flat side. There you go. Another reason why to hate someone. Paraphrase from George Carlin: "Why bash the politicians? The problem are the voters." That is kind of scarily. That's truer than we want to admit. So, all right. So I'm a devotee of Scott Adams, right? So he's talking about the American politics. I don't get too much politics because that's not this point of. I don't want to be defending one side or the other side today. I'm tired of that. But he was saying, like right now, the way the votes are going to go, it's kind of neck and neck. So if there's a third party person that runs a third party, then it will probably go in the break for Trump. So he was saying, then you really don't have a vote, do you? The only people that decide who's going to win are the guy is whoever's going to run for third party. They can decide whether Trump wins or not. And that's kind of scary thinking. Like, you mean your vote doesn't matter? Only what matters is who decides to run. That's who it depends. That's who judges who's going to win. Kind of an interesting way to take on it. All right, account. Go to sleep. I'm gonna get going pretty soon. I'm gonna go probably. Oh my God, it's 8:30. I gotta go to. I don't know if Walgreens is even open. I gotta go to. There's a South Park Barbie movie episode. I gotta watch that tonight. I'll watch that tonight. You know what? It's funny. I look at when I watched Oppenheimer, and thinking back on Barbie movie. Barbie movie was a lot of fun. I'll tell you why. I liked the movie enough. I didn't love it, but I liked the movie. But I loved the discussion around it. I thought that was great for film. David T. I like the fact that that one girl that looks like Ben Shapiro's sister decided she liked the movie, and she and Ben Shapiro had a discussion about it. And I thought that was great. I thought that was absolutely. I thought that was great for everybody because. It showed people can have different opinions. It showed like there's not like a lockstep, right? Like now the Marvels is out, and I feel like there's kind of a lockstep. Everyone's in lockstep about hating the Marvels, and I don't know if it's good or not. I don't know. I'm not going to go see it because it's not my thing. Like I've given up on Marvel. But anyhow, it showed that there was different opinions. You could take different approaches to the movie. To me, I felt like, hey. You got this hyper-conservative guy that thought Barbie movie was a libertarian, like, wet dream. Then you have, the girl, the people that are just reading it at face value and thinking it's a stab against male patriarchy. And it was great. And it was great to see people talking about movies. It was cool. It was exciting. People were, jazzed about it. So overall, I think that was a great thing for the movie culture. And then there was a whole, Barbenheimer and all that. And that was the best thing we've had in movie culture for a while. Now it's everyone just hating on Marvel and, the the Friday Night Tights, those guys, Critical Drinker, which I don't disagree with, but they're all going to just pile on Marvels and, it's kind of like, well, so what? Ben's sister has some jugs? His real sister or the, what's her name? She's kind of cute. Anyhow, Trump is deep state? Maybe. Who knows? I don't know what anything's going on. And now a movie named Barbenheimer is coming up. Barbenheimer. Very good. Wayne Drake. Really? You don't understand how Jack Ripper is, he's Mandrake. Yes. I did that in the same vein that I was talking about how Showgirls was an epic cinematic masterpiece. I was joking. Explaining a joke is kind of like dissecting a frog. Right? The frog doesn't like it and he gets killed. Either way, he dies. The joke, explaining a joke is like just basically killing it. The deep state is trying to cancel Trump. Mine should be changed. You're welcome. There you go. I don't know. I'm a joker tonight. I wish it wasn't Trump. I just wish it wasn't Trump, man. Like, I know. Could we not just find someone? Can you find someone that's not Trump? And can you find someone that's not fucking Biden? God damn it. Yeah. So I've been. Let's be honest. I've been very the politics of the era, and I'm not just including our own American politics, but it's the global situation. Depressing. I don't even want to talk about it, but I've been depressed from all this shit. It's been not good. So yeah, just like just need to we just yeah, find what we love, right, and do that, and fill our minds with that, and less of the crap about people being incredibly ugly to each other. Like Showgirls, we need more talk about Showgirls some more. Showgirls may have been the greatest since Birth of a Nation, Mr. Hess. God, don't go there. Oh, don't go there. Like when I do stuff, when I cover things like Birth of a Nation, I won't show Birth of a Nation to the class. Not because I'm afraid of getting in trouble. I don't want to necessarily. I think it was a count for comment. He's probably left now, but he was talking about how, like, the movie Salo, the 120 Days of Sodom. There's probably lessons we can learn from that movie, but I don't want to watch it. I just don't want to watch it at all. And so I don't really, maybe there are lessons to learn from it. I'm not interested in those lessons. I'm just not. And so I kind of take the same approach to like Birth of a Nation. Like, I'll show you a still from it, but I don't want to show you parts of it because I'm sure there's an academic study of it that will teach you something, but I don't want to subject my first year students' intro to video production to that stuff. It's just not. And the same thing with like Triumph of the Will. I'll show you a little bit of Triumph of the Will, but I don't want to show you like a bunch of shit from Triumph of the Will. I'll show you like some shots of it so you're like, oh yeah, that's the throne room from Star Wars. Like it's used all over the place. But there are other Pasolini films you can learn from. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah. Why subject yourself? So now we're down to 12 viewers. They can sense that I'm getting tired. I mentioned politics and that they all like out of here. And I stopped talking about the porn version of Showgirls. I should probably get going. It's been like 3 hours stream. Oh my God. How long have I been on for? Way too long. Yeah, 3.5 hours. Jeez. Well, I watch a lot of Nick Rekieta at night. That motherfucker goes for like 6-8 hours streams. When the Rittenhouse case was going, he was doing like 20-hour streaming, like extremely long streams. I like watching him because I think he's got an interesting. He's literally my age. He's way more successful than I am. I thought Birth of a Nation was comically racist. I mean, there is a scene where it looks like the black guys are trying to ask a girl on a date, and his response is to jump off a cliff. Okay, maybe. Jack Ripper says, "What a stream! You're like my whole day is to make a stream just for you." I think that's the only. I think you're the only person that enjoyed this stream. Everyone else is like, "Oh my God, this is awful. This guy is just spiraling out of control. This is sad. Yeah, Plotbot. So I do show Intolerance. I will show parts of Intolerance as a Griffith movie, and I also show a lot of the older short films of Griffith. Like I'll show. There's one called. I like this one. It's called like something at the Villa, where he intercuts like this family, like a robber is trying to break into the house, and he intercuts it with people, like the husband trying to race home and trying to get back to the house. So some of the biograph shorts, I'll show those because I think they're very cool. Because you see some ideas of intercutting, right? Remember, like the very first edit, what they call editing was like that film, like Portrait of a Firefighter. It was Edwin S. Porter, and he literally just showed you like, all right, here's a house on fire. Here comes the firemen, and they're going to save it, and they save it, and they get the girl out. Oh, yay! And then they cut to another version from a different angle, but like repeating the same action, but from a different angle. And it was like, didn't you guys get? Didn't you understand the idea of continuity editing, of like being able to cut between the two? And like people would like, no, it didn't make sense yet. And then Griffith comes along and kind of, I mean, maybe some other people were at the same contemporaries that kind of had the same idea of intercutting and stuff like that. Anyhow, That's so I do show a little bit of that. There's this one early movie from the 20s that my God, there is it's a shootout. It happens in a alleyway. Considered one of the first mafia movies, the crime movies. And I show that because there's a close up in that shot, and the actor is like walking toward the camera very slowly, and the camera rack focuses, and so his face is in the entire. And like if you watched like the early Edison films and all those early stuff, like everything was very portmanteau, is I think the term, where it's like everything's just a frame, and you're seeing like the full body of the actor, and they just like walk like cartoon characters, like in an animated cell. But this is a chance. This is the first, not the first, but it felt like one of the early examples of a close up, and then the preservation was done so well that it looks like looking through time, because you can see the pores in this guy's face, and it like, wow, that's a human being. That's 100 years removed. He's wearing different costume, but he looks so modern. The photography looks so modern. It's so cool. I don't think my students give a shit about that. They just want to get there. They just want to go home. But I love it. I thought it was so cool. So I show that. And then I show a little bit. It's like, okay, well, the Birth of a Nation comes out, and even people in 1915 thought it was racist as fuck. Of course, the president who's a Democrat, thought he loved it. He showed it on the White House lawn. But that's basically, I showed them some photos from this protest in Rochester, New York. And so these black people are picketing. The not NCAA, John, that's so racist. National Association of Colored People, NAACP. All right, 1915, they're picketing. And they're wearing like big heavy coats, and they're black people, and they've got like picket signs, and like, this is a racist movie. And this is a photograph of this. And it's 1915. You have to remind yourself, this is a photo from 1915. Musketeers of Pig Alley. Thank you, Jack Ripper. That's the name of the movie. Yeah, Musketeers of Pig Alley. That's the one I'm thinking of. So, but going back to Birth of a Nation, they're picketing, but this photo looks like it came out of the Civil Rights Act. The clothes look the same as a 1960s era. They're all wearing heavy coats, so it's hard to tell what they're wearing. But it's amazing, that photograph. And so the way, and I've saw some documentaries about this, talking to some people that study race history like that the seeds of the Civil Rights Act, the Civil Rights Movement, some of the strategies, some of the techniques of organizing got started in 1914, 1915. And it's remarkable to make that connection. I don't think any of my students care. Maybe you guys don't care. I don't know. I like it. I think it's very interesting. Anyhow. Petrosexual.de. The Germans love their petrosexuals. We may be rich tonight. Yes, I am $10 richer. I will use that money to buy myself some Panda Express. Yeah, some shots from Intolerance are absolutely breathtaking. They really are. And I always ask the kids, how many kids have played L.A. Noire, the video game? And I usually get like one student's like, I played L.A. Noire. Then you'll recognize this scene. And it's the big Babylon scene. Because, yeah. Within Our Gates was a black filmmaker's responsible. Wasn't, also didn't, what's his name, make another Birth of a Nation movie? I forget his name. That one black director. And it's like, well, I know the attempt was to basically overshadow it. I don't think it worked. The sequel to Birth of a Nation, Death of a Nation, was a reality show coming out soon. There you go. Death of a Nation. I don't know. I think people need to get off the internet. I think if you get off the internet and you go see your neighbor and you go talk to your neighbor, that, we're not that bad. We're not that bad off. Oscar Michenou? No. He's got a famous name that I confuse with some other director. Like if you look up Birth of a Nation, Actually, what happens? You pull up the 1914 movie or 1915 movie. But there's another one. Um, what's his name made? Birth of a Nation 2016. Where is it? 2016? Yeah, there it is. What's his name? Not Nate Parker? No, that's not his name. There's another Birth of a Nation. I guess that is Nate Parker. Nate Parker. No, Nate. No, that's the actor. Actor is Nate Parker. Oh, maybe I'm thinking of something else then. John, you are my neighbor. We are all neighbors. We are all friends. We are all brothers in Christ and Allah or whatever, Buddha and whatever you want to believe. All God's children. Or not God if you don't believe in God. Or we're all people on society. I'm tired. I need to get some food. So I got myself, I made myself a couple of weeks ago, I had like not made anything for myself. I'm an okay cook. I like cooking. And I hadn't cooked for like a month because I've been working every day and I've just been eating out every day. And not eating out in the good way, guys. I apologize for that. But not, eating takeout and all that shit for like months. And I decided I am going to make my friend some food. So we're having a movie night. We watched Deathstalker 2, which if you haven't seen Deathstalker 2, it's amazing. It's terrible, but it's absolutely amazing. There's some good nudity in it too. But yeah, it's an absolutely terrible movie. It's a terrible movie because at the very beginning of the movie, the lead gets away and then the bad girl turns to the camera and says, "I will have my revenge," and Deathstalker 2, and then the movie Deathstalker 2 comes up. It's amazing. Anyhow, so I made them a lasagna because I wanted to make lasagna, but I was like, I'm going to be foo-foo fancy here, and I made not lasagna, but the little big giant big giant shells of stuff. But I bought some ricotta cheese. I know this story's going someplace, but it will eventually get there. I bought some ricotta cheese, and I made like a spinach ricotta cheese, and I put some Italian sausage in there. Well, I cooked up a pound of Italian sausage, and then I mixed it all together, but I realized I had way too much cheese. There you go. Yeah, the chicken Deathstalker 2 is hilariously bad. Oh my God, which chick? They're all horrible, but but it's such a good movie. It's such a fun movie to watch when you're stoned out of your mind. Anyhow, so I made them this stuff, and I'm not a vegetarian, as you can tell. I'm not a vegetarian, so but I mixed it all together, and I had all this. I had too much, so I decided to cut it in half and save some for later. And then I put it all together, and I made this lasagna thing. And I realized, oh shoot, I used 1 pound of sausage for the entire batch, and I cut that in half. So there's only half a pound of sausage in this lasagna, which means there's not much sausage. So they were eating, and they're like, "Hey, is this a vegetarian?" Like, no, I wouldn't do that to you guys. I would never do that to you guys. And in fact, I had done that. I literally gave them like not enough sausage, and it was very vegetarian. So I was going to correct that, and I was going to take the rest of that and put another pound of Italian sausage in there. But it ain't going to happen tonight. It'll probably happen tomorrow. I'm so tired, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I got to put an end to this. I got to take Old Yeller out to the farm and just, cock and load it and just put an end to the stream because it is terrible. Monique Gabrielle. That's right. Monique Gabrielle. She's a scream queen on top of that. You think that was her only movie, and it was not. She had been plenty of movies before and plenty of movies after that. She's absolutely... The weird thing about Monique Gabrielle, though, in Deathstalker 2, was that her good girl character was terrible, was awful, was annoying, and just absolutely horrendous to watch. But her bad character was passable. How did that happen? How she played 2 different roles in the movie, and one was actually watchable, and the other one was absolutely dreck. It's such a weird phenomenon. You think maybe both characters would be bad, or both characters would be good, but no, one character was just terrible, and the other one was good. Or passable, good enough. And then she did do quite a bit of evilness, nudity. She was in Evil Tunes. That's right. I never saw Evil Tunes. I gotta look up Evil Tunes. Evil Tunes. Evil Tunes. They find an old book, a dagger, and a soul shred. And one of them is Megan reads an incarnation. She unleashes evil beast on the world. Nice. Oh, that's right. Evil Tunes in the yeah. Red Letter Media did a thing on that one. Okay, gotta put that on my list of horror. That's right. They did. Oh yeah, I gotta watch that. So yeah, I just Googled pictures of Monique Aber. Well, who cares? Because she was not very pretty when she was doing the terrible acting. She was very, very covered up and very, very annoying. Like, oh my God. I can't explain how bad she was in that role. But in her alternate role as the evil, sinister version of herself, she's okay. And she's actually very sexy. But yeah, in the other version, she's like, just stop it. Just stop. So yeah, Deathstalker 2 was interesting because there's an audio commentary. We listened to a little bit of it, but it was like the whole movie was shot in Argentina because they could do it cheaply in Argentina. So all the extras were Argentinian. They didn't speak any English, and they would just cover their faces and just have them go, okay, go this way, and then change their costume, go that way. And anyhow, all right, I gotta put it in. Evil Tunes. I gotta watch this crap. I gotta put that on our bad movie night. I don't know. If you guys don't watching bad movie nights, they really are an affirmation on what's good about filmmaking, so that you can see how average people of limited talents can actually entertain you rather than watching something amazing by Fincher who takes, a million takes and is absolutely stunningly, technically brilliant. Everything's perfect. And you have no hope whatsoever to achieve that quality. You can watch Evil Tunes. She didn't do porn. No, that's not porn. She did erotica. Erotica. Which means just means they like dry hump and all that stuff. They're not actually. She's not a porn. She's not a whore. I'm not a whore. Going back to quoting Showgirls, guys. Another great movie. The sex scenes in Showgirls, the amount of physical exertion. I mean, Jesus Christ. It's amazing. Liz Berkley never completely flushed her career down the toilet for that movie, just like I did for this live stream today. It's going to be analyzed in the history as the worst live stream ever made. All right. I've had enough. She has great talents. No, I don't mean that. Don't get me in trouble when I say talent. Talent means actress. I'm not saying. I got in trouble because I called a girl talent. I said, hey, we have great talent. I'm putting the camera 15 feet from the talent. Oh, you're making fun of her. Yeah, wink, wink, talents. Aha, me too. I got whatever. Just think I'm a perv. It's not far from the truth. Whatever. Do whatever you say. All right. That is it for me. I'm tired. This is the third time. Oh boy. This is the third time I've tried to log off and you guys keep sucking me back in. All right, guys. We will see you next week, hopefully, if I don't get completely canceled between now and then. And hopefully I'll rebuild my stream computer. And maybe I'll be testing out the live view next week. Make sure it works before I spend the money to get the wireless. All right, guys. I want to fade out, and I will talk to you guys next week if I'm not canceled. And we'll see you. Bye-bye. Bye for now. Bye.